The footy might stop with the final siren, but with ABC AFL, the conversation keeps rolling. Get ABC AFL Daily Podcast with Premiership coach Paul Roos alongside Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron and Poppy Penny.
From walking on thin ice to dancing on the mountaintop.
It's your daily footy conversation. Find it on the ABC Listen app.
ABC Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
On ABC Sport, this is the AFL.
Room to steady and finish.
It's close to the goal line and Marty got there. Another one.
Sit back, relax, witness the greatest. It don't get better than this.
Rampy from 55 and right on the way home. Huge bend off and kicks the goal. The skipper off a step finishes.
Take a seat, 'cause it don't get better than this.
Right foot strike. He's got it. Oh, the home fans like that. Takes a bounce. Unguarded goal square. He's got it. Reed's going to go for goal. Oh, my goodness. That truly is remarkable.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Take a seat, 'cause it don't get better than this.
On radio, on digital and on the ABC Listen app.
Yeah, take a seat, 'cause it don't get better than this.
Saturday night footy under the roof of Docklands. Geelong coming off a scintillating 78-point win over the Dockers, initially having made no changes from their winning formula last week. But there is a late change with Bailey Smith having been so impressive on debut. He is out and Ted Closey comes in for the Cats. He will be the sub tonight alongside Hugo Garcia. The Cats looking to move to 2-0 to start the 2025 season, while St Kilda on the other side of it. They were on the hands of a belting from Adelaide by 63 points. They've made 4 changes as they try and make a response tonight. And Isaac Keller will make his debut for the Saints. Hi everyone, Matt Clinch with you for ABC Sport. Great to have your company tonight. What will we see? We've seen some one-sided affairs so far this afternoon. Adelaide by 61 points over the Bombers and Port Adelaide by 72 points over the Tigers. It does feel like there is a gap that's starting to emerge between the best sides and those that might be off to a slow start this season. Lauren Borden to call the action alongside me. Welcome, Loz.
Hello, Clinchy. Great to be here again at Docklands on a Saturday night. And I guess Geelong doesn't come down here very often. It's only their 1 of 2 times this year they'll be here. And maybe it's a little bit of a taster of what it's like for teams to go up to Cardinia Park and come and meet them. But like you said, one of these sides did the thrashing last week. The other one got thrashed. But we've got to remember the last time these two sides played here when Geelong was up by 33 points at half-time, and then it was St Kilda that overran them to win. So, we don't know what the scoreline will sit like at half-time, but hopefully it means there's still a fair bit in this second half, no matter what it is looking like.
Absolutely. Ross Lyon has had a good record when it comes to coaching against Chris Scott since returning to St Kilda. He's won 2 of the 3 matches in which they've faced off last year in round 24. In 2024, they won by 18 points, 13 goals to 5 after half-time, and Jack Higgins booted 3 with Marshall really leading the way with 28 disposals of goal and 10 clearances. Back at the start of the season, it was Geelong who prevailed by 8 points, but it was much closer than we imagined at Cardinia Park. And in round 2023, St Kilda won by 33 points on that occasion. So they do play the ground and the dimensions maybe a little better than what Geelong, who don't play there all this often. Alongside us tonight, we have the AFL Games record holder. It's great to have Brent Boomer Harvey with you for a Saturday night. Welcome, Boomer.
Yes, good evening, guys. And yes, Clinchy, sat on the couch and watched 2 very average games of football today. So let's hope that we do not get a third. And let's be honest, absolutely perfect conditions underneath the roof at Marvel Stadium. So hopefully we've got a really good game and it's a good call.
It certainly is. We have the St Kilda legend, the Australian Football Hall of Famer, 3-time Trevor Barker medalist, 4-time All-Australian Nathan Burke with you on a Saturday night. Berkey, these are always tough nights when you come watching your former side. What are we going to see tonight?
Yes, hello everybody. Who knows is my best response there. Look, they've got to bounce back from last week. It was a really poor showing over there in Adelaide. And look, Adelaide, I think they're going to be a tough ask for many teams this year. But just the way they played, they didn't really give a yelp. Ross Lyon's teams have, if there's a signature about them, is that they are relentless. They do tackle hard. They do physically pressure the opposition. But there was none of that last week. So hopefully that has been drummed into the boys this week, because the only way to beat Geelong is to bring that pressure. And if they try and play skill for skill, they won't beat the Cats here tonight.
It feels like it's at that stage of the season where we're trying to gauge where everyone sits. I think most people feel like Geelong going to be good once more. They always are under Chris Scott. They're perennially contending and in the final four. St Kilda, it's a bit more of a mystery. It feels like they spent a lot of the off-season sort of trying to pepper expectations. They're a young side. They've had their injuries, and once more we get to see a young debutant in Isaac Kilda tonight, and hopefully he's able to really make an impact, having come across from South Australia. He's been on the list for a couple of years, kicked 19 goals from 26 games last year in the VFL. He's also played in defence, and he gets his opportunity tonight.
Yeah, he's a big mobile sort of a player. Reminds me a little bit of sort of Paddy Ryder, the way he moves around. He's got sort of long arms and reaches up high for the football. Played against Port Adelaide in the practice match, and he was probably the one and only shining light in that dismal performance on that day. So great to see him get a run out there and blood some young big fellas, which is badly what they need.
Where will we see him play, Berkey? 198 centimetres?
Probably up forward.
A little bit in the ruck. Will he be a second, third ruckman?
Pinch hit a little bit. Rowan Marshall played a lot up forward last week. The ruck that they had there, they've got him out of the side, got Keeler into the side. Without Max King down there, you're looking at Caminetti. Cooper Sharman's not there at the moment, so they don't have any tall players down there. So hopefully they put him up forward and let him kick a goal or two.
That's the big thing. Look at the Saints right now, and Clinchy, you said where the teams sit in the pecking order. I think we can see from Adelaide's first two games, they're going to be okay and very hard to beat over in Adelaide Oval, as Berkey already mentioned. But I look at the Saints, and I can't get a gauge on them. And simple reason, the forward line's the unknown. They might have to try something different and do five smalls and one tall. They're going to have to try something, because I look at their team and their structure. If I've got the football 60, 70 out, where am I going? Who am I kicking to? Have I got confidence to kick it long down the line if the big ruckman's not there? I can't really find anyone that is going to pop up and kick me 4 or 5 goals in a game.
I'd love to see them go small, because what that's going to force them to do is actually lower their eyes and direct the ball inside the forward line. We know that if there's one thing that the Geelong defence love, is that they love that high ball in, they push numbers back, and then whoosh away they go from there. So if the Saints fall into the trap, and they can do this a lot, which is just bomb that ball forward, bomb it forward, and hopefully somebody takes a mark, Geelong are absolutely going to love that. So by playing a smaller forward line, it's going to force them to actually try and direct the ball to Higgins and Butler and all these smaller guys. And Collard, who comes into the team today, they're hoping that he can just be that dangerous forward and bobs up and kick 2 or 3.
Clinchy, I'm going to throw this out there very early.
Mm-hmm.
If St Kilda tonight leave Tom Stewart spare behind the football, I could disappear from here for about 15 minutes and make me way over, knock on Ross Lyon's door. Because if they do that, they are not winning the game. No. Every team that lets him start in the middle of the ground or start on the wing and just drift back and does what he wants, he's too good. He's one of the best in the business at doing it. And if they allow him to do that tonight, I'll call it from the first 3 minutes, we'll find out if he's going to do it. And if he does it, St Kilda don't win the game.
I like it. Right from the outset, Brent Harvey has something he's keen to keep an eye on from the opening bounce. Ross Lyon said after their loss to Adelaide by 63 points, we want to be better than what we were on that occasion, but they conceded 11 goals to 3 from turnovers. So traditionally the Saints, Berkey, have been a great control defensive side. The wrestle is in trying to open up the game and score more. You can be scored against more heavily.
They can. Like Boomer, I sat and watched the football this afternoon, and I've come in with a bit of a bee in my bonnet, for want of a better term. The games that I watched today, especially Essendon, and even Adelaide to a degree, that game had 40 goals kicked in it. 40 goals. Yeah. The standard of defending these days is poor, to say the least. So whilst you're watching certain plays, Boomer, I'm going to be watching the coach's box. And Jared Rivers, you're the defensive coach of St Kilda. If they start to zone off and get the ball out the back, I'm going to be doing one of my fierce glares at that coaching box. And same with Geelong. Stephen King here, they have a different setup. They don't necessarily do backs and forwards and mids, but he's renowned as being in charge of their defence. So I'm going to keep an eye on the defending tonight.
You talk about the defence. 21 goals Adelaide kicked against St Kilda last week.
Yep.
21 goals.
Yep.
That's what Adelaide kicked today, Clinchy? Have you got that in front of you?
I do. Adelaide kicked 25 goals another week where they brought up the ton.
The best scoring team in the competition at the minute, but 21 goals against a Ross Lyon coach team you don't see very often, do you?
You certainly don't. Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport. Matt Cletch and Lauren Borden to call the action. It's great to have Alexis Pesce on the boundary once more. Welcome to you, Lex.
Good evening, guys. Thank you. It's very nice down here. Geelong, an early win for them. They've won the toss and they've gone... It's my left. Is that left of screen? Is that how it works over here?
That's how it works.
That's the Lockett end.
The Lockett
And
end.
it should still be the Lockett end. Where's the sign? They've got a scoreboard in front of it, which is disgraceful.
They're going to the Lockett end. That's what's happening. Disgraceful or not.
Beautifully done. So we're all in readiness. Geelong looking to continue their winning ways, and St Kilda keen for a bounce back. It's round 2 of the AFL on ABC Sport. You're with Lauren Borden.
Two sides coming off vastly different round 1 results as the umpire bounces the ball in the middle, and it's Marshall back in there for the Saints. De Koning, though, tries to soccer it, and then McRae gets the footy, hand pass back to Wilson. The Saints with the footy in the centre of Dockland Stadium, inside 50, looking for Owens, who's returning, but instead it's Mark Blitzarves coming in and taking the defensive mark for the Cats.
Blitzarf playing in defence against Mason Wood. They realise that that's probably a good matchup. And if the Saints going to be any good, there you go, call that one off.
Hand pass to Stewart. Stewart kicked it down to the wing, and it's Ollie Henry who rose over the top of his opponent, take the mark, and it's Geelong now quickly inside 50. They've turned it over, though, because Wilkie's been able to take the intercept mark. So another solid intercept mark down the other end of the ground, and he hand passes it off to Webster.
Webster looks out wide to the back pocket where Ryan Byrne takes the mark, and now Jack Higgins, who's worked a long way up the ground. He marks at left half back. Opening minute of Saturday night footy under the roof on ABC Sport. Ron Marshall is the target. In the end, he and Mitch Owens spoiled each other. Mark Blitzarves of Geelong has it locked to his chest to throw up on the outer wing, centre side. No score after a minute.
Keeler for the Saints lining up at full forward.
Free kick going the way of Rowan Marshall against Sam De Koning. He had the opportunity to ruck last week against Freo, and with no Reece Stanley, we'll get the opportunity for a bit longer. Up inside 50. Flying was Mason Wood. Can't come down with the mark. It's Jack Henry for the Cats. His kick is chopped off, and Jack Steele takes the mark.
A little chip kick right to the top, centre half forward, and he finds Sinclair. Sinclair will roll the ball in his hands. He doesn't look confident at taking a kick. It'll go back and 55 metres out. Try and get the first one on the board for the Saints.
He doesn't look super confident, does he? But he's got a lovely kick on him. What he'll do, like every other player, is run out to the right because the player on the mark can't move. He should gain another 3 or 4 metres.
So he comes in now, and then he opts just to chip it slightly forward. And he hits Windhager on the chest. So lowered the eyes, Berkey, that's what you wanted to see. And Windhager came out leading and holds on to the mark. He's about 40 metres out now, just a little slight angle to the left.
Yes, excellent play by the Saints, but I'm looking at Geelong box. Stephen King, what are you doing? That was disgraceful defending by Geelong, or just standing there with their hands on their hips and let someone lead 30 metres out dead in front. Terrible defending.
Marcus Windhager now with the chance to put the first goal on the board for the evening. He strolls in. The kick looks good off the boot. And it sails through for the first. The Saints strike with the opening goal of the night. St Kilda 1 straight 6. Geelong yet to score. 2.5 minutes played in the opening term on ABC Sport. Your experts Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke.
Well, Berkey, you speak about the defence part of it. I mentioned Tom Stewart at the start of the game. Now, he lined up down in the back line, and Mitch Owen made a bit of a beeline to him, and he wants to get to him, and there was a bit of push and shove. But twice Mitch Owen's been near the ball, and Tom Stewart has been about 15 to 20 metres away from him, not paying him no respect. So we know how Tom Stewart likes to play. If St Kilda are smart enough, they can drop their eyes like that, they're actually going to get a look tonight.
Anthony Caminetti, who has been playing up forward recently for the Saints the last year, has now lined up in the back line, which probably keep a lot of supporters happy because they've been calling for that for a few weeks last year and this year.
Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey with you on ABC Sport. Marshall one down the tap for the Saints, but Sam De Koning roved it. Kicks up towards half forward. Webster gathers, though, for St Kilda. Out towards Jack McRae. What an impression he made in his first game for the Saints as he finds Mason Wood at left half forward. So St Kilda with the early runnings as he looks to come inboard to Webster. He marks between wing and half forward, still on the outer side.
They already look like they don't want to bomb the ball. Mason Wood normally would kick that long down the line like you mentioned earlier in the call, Berkey, and they're just chipping the ball around the top of the 50. They'll try to get it to about 50, 60 out and drop their eyes again, hopefully.
Short to Jack McRae once more. Had 34 disposals last week on club debut. Inside 50. Mitch Owens has to fly. Spoils it down. Higgins is onto it. Hand pass to Brad Hill. Swinging back onto his right-hand side. A centering ball looking for Marshall. Jeremy Cameron's in defence making the spoil. Spills to Zach Jones of the Saints. Hand pass to Marshall. Centering hand pass over the head of Wilson. Wilkie has gone forward. Hand passes to Wanganeen Millerer. The smooth mover. Puts it to the top of the goal square. Owen pulls in the one-handed mark and takes the mark at the top of the goal square. Great patience from the Saints to wait for an option. And eventually, Mitch Owens is exactly that man having the job on Tom Stewart tonight.
Yes, and looking up, Tom Stewart's coming from the ground now, but not because of this mark, but he was probably 7 or 8 metres off him, Berkey. Looks like a ploy just to keep dropping their eyes and being really patient with the ball going inside 50.
The fourth-year Saint, what a start it is as Mitch Owen comes in and the Saints have the opening 2 goals of the match. 2 straight 12 inside 5 minutes under the roof of Docklands. Saturday night footy with Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey.
Well, Boomer, it's like we called it. So it's 17 possessions, 22 possessions to 9 in favour of the Saints at this point, and the marks are at 10-2. So they've distinct game plan to just maintain possession. Don't give the ball back to Geelong. If we kick the ball along to a 50-50, we know that's what they love, and whoosh, away they go. So, let's be patient. Be patient, lower the eyes, find someone inside 50, and so far, they're doing it extremely well.
Important addition back into that St Kilda forward line. First game this season, coming back from a shoulder injury, and he's shown why they need him. Back in that forward 50. St Kilda ahead by 2 goals. Marshall just rips it out of the ruck. Can't get a clean hand pass away. Taken by Bose of the Cats, and he can stream away now and put Geelong inside 50. Quick movement in there. Up comes Neil. Can't quite juggle it down. Myers had a go, but it's hand passed out of defensive 50 by Marshall. Across to McRae. Long kick now down the city side wing of Docklands Stadium. Owens can't mark. Comes to ground. Hill has a crack. It's hand passed up, and Bose will take it now for Geelong. He is taken to the turf, and players will surround the footy. The umpire will come in now to ball it up.
Fantastic by Caminiti too. Just beautiful attack on the football and went through with some real force.
Punched away to Steele, who gets the clearance, and it's a hand pass to Wilson. Nearly hand passes and then decides to go with a long bomb inside 50 over the top of the debutant in Keeler, and it's an intercept mark for Jack Henry, who holds on to it for the Cats.
Back across the defensive goal, he finds Zach Guthrie. Geelong yet to score. St Kilda 2 straight 12 through the opening 7 minutes. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Works it close to the boundary line, and Lawson Humphrey has the mark. Humphrey's up towards half-back. Shannon Neal with a big strong mark over the top of Caminiti and Wilkie. Has it left half-back for the Cats.
So Caminiti had the chance to really assert himself there and smash that one.
Now pass to Zach Guthrie. He gained 10 metres, drives it inside 50. In from the side, no mark claimed by Clark. Stengel stood down. O'Connor lays the tackle. Spills off the boot of Sinclair for St Kilda. Found Mason Wood. His kick was too sharp alongside the turf for Jones, but he does win it back against Humphreys. Gets a hand pass back to McRae. The Saints middle of the Docklands. The hand pass to Mason Wood with the kick partially smothered. Good clean pick up by Bose. Swings on his right hand side. Kick never got to Dangerfield. Caminiti on half back. His hand pass chopped off by Stengel, and his tackle. Umpire will ball it up at left half forward. Alexia Pescier on the boundary. Lex, what's the crowd like for Saturday night footy?
Well, they're late, but they've arrived, and it's definitely starting to fill up. Definitely more Saints fans than Geelong fans. They haven't made the trip this week.
Oh, well, there's a big concert in Geelong in Warm Ponds at the moment. Fatboy Slim, Lex. So that might be keeping a few away from Docklands. I don't know if I could name a Fatboy Slim song. Sorry, Lex, but
we're here for the footy.
Ball has just come out over the boundary, so it'll be a throw-in between wing and half forward for the Cats. Yet to score so far in this first quarter. It's the Saints ahead by 2 straight goals as Marshall taps it down. Then Neal goes after it, tries to pick it up. Jones steals it from him. Hand pass back to Steele. He funnels it out to Hall, whose hand pass only went as far as Neal. Then Marshall has a crack at it. Can get a kick away, but Stewart roving around intercepts the footy. Takes it for the Cats and kicks right into the centre of Docklands Stadium, where O'Sullivan takes the mark and then kicks it out wide to half forward. And the mark will be taken by Clark.
Comes inboard to Graham Myers, not 15, so under immediate pressure. Knocked out by Sinclair. Quick kick by Clark, inside 50, and he finds Stengel. Off balance, but able to hang on to the mark. It was really something out of nothing from the Geelong side of things, and Jimmy Webster frustrated that Tyson Stengel just picked up a couple of metres to take the mark.
They've been red hot on the no 15, not only this round, but in round 1 as well. It's It's nearly got to go. I seen one today. I'm not sure who it was. The Essendon player marked it and just went back like it was a 20-metre kick, which I thought it was, and got pinged, and they kicked the goal out of it. But that's smart play by Stengel. That's what good crafty forwards do. Stay in front.
46 goals last season for Tyson Stengel. Stengel looking to get Geelong going tonight. He leans back on and leaves it out to the left. You can almost hear the Bronx cheers from Geelong fans that are here, and the Saints fans relieved it's a miss. Geelong are on the board, one behind to St Kilda, 2 straight 12. We played 9 minutes in the opening term. Here's Lauren Borden.
Sinclair wastes no time in moving the footy to Caminiti, who just chips it forward to Jones. Is about 40 metres out from defensive goal.
Right.
And goes laterally to Webster. That might have not been 15 after everything we've spoken about.
Dangerfield took about 3 steps over the mark then.
Now Webster goes for a run right across defensive 50, kicks it out long to a pack. It goes through the hands of Clark and comes down. Clark goes after it. He was knocked off the footy by Collard. And Clark will win the free kick for the Cats. So it'll be Geelong ball, centre of Docklands Stadium. They haven't kicked a goal yet, trailing by 11.
As he looks up inside 50, that's a bullet pass that finds Mark O'Connor. The Irishman hugs it to his chest. And slightly left of centre, will kick from just inside 50.
It's going to be interesting to see if St Kilda can maintain this style of play, Berkey. The kick mark, even out of defence. They had 4 kicks before they even looked like getting out. It's certainly a ploy to keep the ball off Geelong.
Another example of the incredible list management by the Cats. Over 100 games for the Irishman, but he hangs it out to the right. He's kicked from just inside 50 and off hands. It goes through for a minor score. Geelong 2 behind, St Kilda 2 straight 12. We played 11 minutes opening term on ABC Sport.
Again, St Kilda using the broadcast side of the ground, and it's to Caminiti, who flicks it across to Jones. Chip kick just comes out to Sinclair. He's got it at right half back. And holds on to the footy as movement stalls in front of him. Jones leads again for the ball. It'll go just over the top of his head. In comes Guthrie, who can steal it back. Quick hands to O'Connor. Hand pass across to Bowes. He'll be able to chip it inside 50 as Stengel, who marks. Left forward pocket, quick on the turnover. And Stengel gets another chance at goals. Tougher angle, 25 metres out, close to the boundary.
That's the danger. Everybody spreads out looking for that short pass, and if you don't hit your target, everyone's out into space, no one's defending properly, and the ball turns over quickly.
Tyson Stengel with the snap. Does not miss this time. Geelong's first goal for tonight is by the boot of Tyson Stengel. And the margin cut back to just 4 points. Geelong 1-2-8, St Kilda 2 straight 12. Before the thoughts of our ABC Sport experts Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey, let's head down to the boundary. Lex.
Guys, Jeremy Cameron's come off. He's just about to run on, but he's mucking around with his left. Looked like Achilles, so he's all right at the moment, but we'll see what they do with him.
Yeah, it's St Kilda's game plan. It's going to be great if it works, but if you're in Geelong coaching box now, it's really obvious what they're trying to do. So you say, right, boys, instead of zoning, get 3 steps closer to your opponent, tease them, make them do that short one, intercept it, and away we go. Exactly what happened then.
You can even see some of the Geelong players are starting to play in front of their players, so they have to lead past them or kick over the top of them. They kick over the top of them and miss it with a bit more hang time. They're in a bit of danger.
Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. Isaac Kessler into the ruck. He won down the tap. They almost got it to half forward before Lawson Humphreys got it for Geelong. Hand pass set Holmes a challenge. Back to Humphreys. Slick hand pass. Cats around the outer wing. Hand pass to Close. Kicks up to Cameron. Back onto the field into the action. He's at right half forward, just 5 metres in from the boundary. He swings out on that arc with the left boot. Sends it towards the teeth of goal. Big fly from O'Connor. Neil came from behind. Atkins came crashing through. St Kilda definitely defending at the top of the goal square. As Caminiti and Wanganeen Miller lay the tackle. And the umpire will throw it up just 10 metres out from Geelong's goal.
Neil doing the ruck work, just takes it out himself. He has a shot at the sticks. It won't make the distance. Plays around the footy in the end. It's Hunter Clark. Shoves a boot on it to clear it away from the face of goals for St Kilda towards Higgins, who's taken over the boundary line. And it'll be a throw-in 40 metres out from Geelong's goal.
Geelong have got a couple of spares behind the football, so they look up. The visual will be blue and white jumpers everywhere. They won't kick it down the line. And they've set themselves up very, very well, the Cats.
So St Kilda tried to clear it away from the danger zone, but still's locked inside 50 for the Cats. Neil again tries to palm it down. Plays around the footy. Bowes goes in and he tries to extract it. It spills out towards Dempsey. He'll have a snap at goals and he'll dismiss to the left-hand side. So another behind, a quick kick from Dempsey and just a minor score. St Kilda's lead now down to 3 points. We've played 14 minutes in the first term on ABC Sport.
Wangane Miller brings St Kilda back into play. Caminiti marks in the right back pocket. Corralled by Close as he plays on, so has to kick around his body. O'Sullivan waits underneath it. Owens in from the side, spills out to Winhager. Tackle dispossessed. Burns tries to knock it out to Owens. Try to fend off the tackle of O'Sullivan. He's tackled and now he's gone. Connor O'Sullivan got him and wins the free kick back for Geelong. 198 centimetres, the 19-year-old from Albury, New South Wales. Picked 11 back in 2023. With a right boot, he puts it in the direction of Shannon Neal. Got underneath it, and Wangane Miller takes an impressive mark. The Saints defender trailing him and takes it and immediately looks through the middle of the ground. Finds Jack Steele.
And Jack Steele hand passes to Wilson, who goes for a 1-2, gets the footy back, tackled, just gets a hand pass away. He was looking for support inside of O'Connell, who grabs the footy, but he's taken down. So O'Connell just in his second game from County Corp, brought to the turf, and will have a ball up centre wing, outer side of Dockland Stadium. As Blitzarves rips it out from the ruck, quick kick will get down to Dempsey. Hand passes away to a running Bowes. He'll kick from 55 metres out. He'll go all the way as far as he can, but it just goes through for a behind. So offline from the start, and it's another behind for the Cats, but they are peppering the goals at the moment, and the ball just living in their forward half. It's St Kilda ahead by 2 points after kicking the first 2 goals of the match, and Geelong getting back with one by Stengel.
Oh, Wangane Miller into Burns. Sent Wilkie a challenge. Spoiled down. Here's a chance. O'Connor's hand pass to Nevitt. Set a challenge for Clark. He's worked out of it by Caminiti. Keen to try and redeem himself. Players dive on top of him, and the umpire will board up in the left forward pocket for Geelong.
That last play where the Saints had flow on the ball, you had the Geelong defenders scrambling back towards goal. That's when you can go long.
All of a sudden, the Cats getting a few more repeat inside 50s. Neal doing the ruck work, wins down the tap. McRae for the Saints, up towards half-back. Great hands from Mason Wood as he takes the mark in front of O'Sullivan at right half-back, looking to try and take some risks into the middle of the ground for Wangane Miller, and it opens up the ground on the far side. Darcy Wilson didn't have to break stride, takes the mark, cuts back on his right, inboard, he looks inside 50. Owen and Stewart. Owen used his body superbly, taps it onto Higgins. He's the last standing, swings onto his right and finishes. Just the scenario in which Jack Higgins absolutely loves as he puts through the Saints' third goal, and end-to-end footy from St Kilda, which finishes with a goal. The Saints by 8 points, 3 straight 18 to Geelong 1-4-10. Jack Higgins on the board.
That's the one I'm talking about, Berkey. You got flow on the ball, and then you get a 2-on-1. I think it was actually a 3-on-2 St Kilda's way. It was a great contest by Owens, who just brought the ball to ground and just did enough for Higgins to get a little easy, cheap goal. It might have been in the back too, Berkey, but might let that one go. But that's whether you can kick it long and direct, and you don't have to hit the perfect target and drop your eyes, because there's flow on the ball, there's speed on the ball, and the Geelong defenders are just scrambling backwards.
Yep. And what I love was Mason Wood took the mark. He kept maintaining possession, but it was a fantastic kick into the corridor. It was a bit dicey, but it hit its target and opened the whole field up. So if you're going to maintain possession, you can still do those really good kicks. It doesn't have to be the easiest one every time.
In the middle, it's Marshall. Shoves it on his boot. He'll get it right to centre half forward for the Saints. That's where it'll stop as Stewart tries to push it along. He might have pulled up lame here. Hand pass away will stay with St Kilda. Hunter Clark this time dabs it inside 50. Good looking kick. Mason Wood with the mark.
Well, Stewart's really struggling here on that right leg.
So he went down to pick up the footy, and then he came up and couldn't walk after that. So a concern there for Stewart.
He looks really proppy, doesn't he? Didn't look much in it when he hit the ground, Berkey.
No. They've convinced him to jog off. He's got the old 1-2 hop happening.
So we'll keep a watch on that one as Mason Wood now will take his shot 45 metres out. About 8 metres in from the boundary. City side of the ground. Nice looking kick as it moves its way towards goals and clatters into the right goalpost. So the first blemish on the scoreboard for St Kilda via Mason Wood. St Kilda's lead now 9 points, 19 minutes played first term.
Alexia Pesce on the boundary. Tom Stewart coming towards you, but very slowly.
Very slowly. It's definitely right side. He doesn't look like he can put any pressure on it, but he'll go straight down to the rooms now. But, we'll keep an eye on that one. Doesn't look good. He definitely can't put pressure on it.
Thank you very much, Lex. Zach Guthrie brings Geelong back into play to Connor O'Sullivan. Kick around the wing, looking for Bowes. Can't take the mark. Sam DeConing knocked it on, though, to Atkins. They run the wing. Hand pass to Close, to Myers. Chips it inboard. Clark had to wait underneath it. It's spoiled away from him, and now the footy is stuck underneath a couple of players. And on the very bottom of the pack is Max Hall, playing in his second game. Gets to his feet. Having been a goal kicker over in South Australia. What was a pretty dirty afternoon for Saints fans. Thrown up. Chance for Bowes for Geelong at the back of the pack. Hand pass to Myers. The intensity has gone up. He's tackled immediately. Hall and Zach Jones, and the umpire will ball it up once more.
Marshall back as the first ruck after Harry Boyd on debut last week took a lot of the load, but exits the side, and Marshall back in there as the main ruck as Wanganeen Miller puts the footy right into the centre of the stadium. So we picked up here by O'Connor, though. The Cats shrugs off a tackler, gets a little kick out wide. He puts it in the path of Humphreys. He'll have to chase after it. The bounce is kind, and he picks it up easily, runs over the logo, out of side of the ground, and then puts the kick towards centre half forward. Sinclair just gets a fingertip on it and doesn't have to make it easy to bring it to ground, and Wanganeen Miller can take it. Two Cats dive on top of him at the top of the 50, and they'll lock it up 45 metres out from goal for a ball up.
St Kilda players putting a lot of attention in the Holmes. Just hits in the shoulder, hits in the body. Hopefully he becomes a little bit sore after half-time and doesn't use his run.
Yeah, Marshall just grabs the ball out of the ruck, but then loses as he tries to get rid of it. It'll be taken by Nevitt. Little dinky kick inside 50. Wanganeen Miller had dropped the mark, had front position on Close, who just rolls the ball away. But again, things will be locked up inside forward 50 for Geelong, as Myers is taken to the turf by Webster, and the umpire to toss the ball up 35 metres out from goal. St Kilda ahead by 9.
Marshall and Neal. Neal wins down the tap for the Cats. Nevitt is locked up by Wilkie and Steele. The umpire circles and will ball it up. Plenty of numbers around this stoppage inside Geelong's forward 50. Ryan Marshall tries to tap it towards the boundary line. Brad Hill couldn't gather it cleanly. Over the footy, here's Oisin Mullen trying to knock it out, but it's Darcy Wilson who gets a clearing kick and a juggling mark taken by Cal Wilkie. He plays on around the man on the mark and hunts the boundary line with a kick which is too wide for Mitch Owens and goes out of play. A boundary throw in. St Kilda by 9 points, 3-1-19 to Geelong 1-4-10. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport through 21 minutes.
Brady Dangerfield standing at full forward, hasn't touched the ball yet.
That's what happens when you're a deep forward, Perky, and you're used to being an on-baller and they send you forward. It's called the graveyard shift.
He's got young Hasty as his opponent, so probably started playing when the young fella was born.
In comes the ball, and Marshall again goes after it, has a second attempt at it, funnels it out, hand passes it away to McRae, who's brought down by Nevitt, and the umpire will throw the ball up again.
That's Liam O'Connell, sorry.
Would the Irishman be chatting to him, do you reckon?
Hope so.
I reckon Danger would like a little bit of a chat down there if you're standing there at full forward, as we'll have another repeat stoppage.
Was it St Patrick's Day yesterday?
Last Monday.
Last Monday.
Close.
Yep.
Close. The Irish people I saw were still celebrating a week later. That's what I thought it was yesterday.
So tossed up again as Steele chases after. He's beaten to the footy, and then he does the tackling. And again, the umpire will come in, have to throw the ball up. It's one of those Irishmen, Notion Mullen, coming up from the bottom of the pack.
That's Paddy's Day, isn't it? In every Irish pub sometimes, as it's socked forward off the ground by Jack Steele. Inside 50, maybe effective, although Mitch Owens couldn't take it cleanly. Lawson Humphrey for the Cats, kicks out to Sam DeConing. He marks it right half-back. St Kilda leading by 9 points. As DeConing hand passes boundary side. Zach Guthrie works it up the field. Humphreys takes the mark once more. Saints put the opening 2 goals of the match. Geelong steadied after a couple of hinds. Jack Higgins with the last goal of the match for the Saints. Humphreys decides to take every millimetre in which he can. He runs inboard and drives it up towards Dangerfield and the Geelong forwards. He was shoved out of it at the end. Cameron at the back trying to get it away. And it's the Saints through Darcy Wilson. His hand pass out in front of Wanganeen Miller, trying to tap it down to the advantage of Max Hall. Did that superbly. Then the kick up towards McRae. Centre wing can't take the mark. Got it down to Wood. Marshall's hand pass opens up in front of Brad Hill. He has it at left half forward. Inside 50s 1-on-1. Kicks towards Owen. Back with a flight. Crash into opponent. I think he was paid the free kick. Higgins takes the advantage. Collard at the top of the goal square. Gathers. Kicks over his shoulder. Another one for the Saints. Bit chaotic, and in the end, Jack Henry was trying to desperately burst back into the goal line to defend Lance Collard, but he's able to finish. And St Kilda open up the biggest lead of the match, 15 points, 4-1-25 to Geelong 1-4-10. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport with Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke.
Berkey, we mentioned a couple of times through the start of the game already, when it's a slow play, St Kilda are trying to hold the football up. But when they got some speed on the football, St Kilda outnumbered Geelong again in their own forward line. There was 3-2 again, and they just had numbers on the ball. Mitch Owen's fantastic effort to go back with the fly. It was probably a mark in the end.
Can you tell me why it wasn't a mark?
I thought it was, but they outnumbered him by one on the ground. Higgins a great little kick, and
it was a free kick. They paid advantage.
Oh, it was advantage, was it?
Well, it was a mark, really.
Yep.
Can't play on for a mark.
But they're outnumbering. They're outnumbering Geelong in their own defensive half.
And Marshall again with the clearance, just picks it up off the turf, hand passes it across to Windhager. He'll send the Saints back inside their forward arc. Running onto it was Keeler, couldn't take the mark. Hand passes it, goes away to Collard. Hand pass across to Windhager, moves the footy to the goal face, but it's taken by the Geelong defenders, and Zach Guthrie will get it out of defence until Zach Jones comes in, holds on to the mark. We'll go for a repeat inside 50 now for St Kilda. Kicked the last couple of goals of the game and the first two as well. He goes backwards towards Hunter Clark, who goes further backwards still to Caminiti. So back with their kick mark game, and they'll go slow on the approach as the kick goes to Stocker in for his first game of the season as well. And he'll flare it to the outer wing to Wilkie, who chips it forward as well to McRae. Takes the game on a little bit more. Hand pass to Wilson, who sells some candy right along the boundary line. 35 metres out from goal. It's Wood. Hand pass to Sinclair. He'll have a shot at it himself, and he'll go. The slow approach, and then the quick finish. And Sinclair with another goal for the Saints. The lead out to a game-high 21 points. St Kilda 5-1-31. Geelong 1-4-10. Late in this first term, and it's perhaps not the first quarter we were expecting when we came here tonight. Nathan Burke, Brent Harvey.
Well, sort of was. Maybe not the scoreboard. We weren't sure how it was going to happen, but what I was sure the Saints would come up with is a game style for this game in particular. Last week they had no discernible game plan, so that didn't work for them. So they had to come with something. They've come with a really obvious, let's keep it out of Geelong's hands. If we get an opportunity to go fast, let's go fast, but let's keep it out of their hands, and it's working. And all credit to the coaches who came up with this, and for the players who are executing it really, really well.
Very methodical, isn't it? Just keep the ball off Geelong when we've got it in a slow play.
Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey with you on ABC Sport. Patrick Dangerfield in the middle, sensing the moment needs a star. His kick is smothered though. He ran into a dead end. Jones lays the tackle, and Zach Jones, Hunter Clark and Zach Jones. He somehow got a kick out to the wing. McRae trying to reel it in. Tackled by Humphreys. The Saints are running away with it though. Jones, Hall combines. Back to Hall, to Darcy Wilson, trying to break the tackle of Tom Atkins. He's tackled over the boundary line and out of play. St Kilda by 21 points. Alexia Pesce on the boundary. Any signs down there of Tom Stewart?
No signs of Tom Stewart just yet, but both doctors have come back. So I reckon they'll make an assessment on him at quarter time. He was limping around in pain on that ankle, so he could maybe syndesmosis, but usually it doesn't hurt if it's that. We'll see. Hopefully not.
All right, thank you, Lex. St Kilda giving everything they've got against the Cats here. As Marshall's tap is read by Dangerfield. Sends Geelong back up the wings. Stocker juggles the mark. At the first bite and claims the second. A few Geelong forwards didn't think he had all of it as Jeremy Cameron tries to lay the tackle. No 50, despite Saints fans appealing for it. St Kilda with 97 disposals to Geelong's 64, and their pressure rating, for what it's worth, was over 220. The kick up towards Marshall. Went up early, can't take the mark. Humphreys for Geelong gets it out to Dangerfield. Back to Lawson. Humphreys. Jones lays the tackle. Out of play. As his hand pass to Max Hall is across the boundary line and a throw in.
Fantastic pressure by Jones, and just did enough to get the jumper and force the handball out of bounds.
St Kilda by 21 points. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport under the roof of Docklands. Zach Jones pulls it out and will chip kick right inside 50 to Mason Wood. Plunks the mark, and he will have a set shot very late in this quarter to put the Saints even further ahead.
Mason Wood doing an outstanding job. He really made his name at the Saints as that winger who could get down in the back line and get up forward line. Here he's staying as that permanent forward, and he's leading. He's really causing the Geelong defenders a lot of trouble.
He's really thrived since coming across from North Melbourne. Now a mainstay and a crucial part of this St Kilda unit. Has a skip as he walks over the line of 50, puts the ball towards goals, and he sends this one home as well. St Kilda's 6th goal of the quarter comes off the boot of Mason Wood from just inside 50. A 27-point lead they now hold, 6-1-37. Geelong 1-4-10. 29 and a half minutes played in the opening term on ABC Sport.
Oh, you're spot on, Berkey. And Mason Wood was a natural forward when he first got drafted to North Melbourne. Turned himself into an elite runner, and hence why you said on the wing can get back, and he's a great mark for his size. He's a beautiful kick, as you've seen, but what he's done tonight is hit up at the football and made the Geelong defenders really, really work hard. If St Kilda keep dropping their eyes like that, the Geelong defenders are going to have to change their game from playing behind and step in front of their direct opponents.
The Saints only kicked 10 goals last week against the Adelaide Crows. They've smacked the Cats for 6 in the first quarter. Back in the middle, Sam de Koning and Marshall. Marshall wins down the tap. Onto it, Winhager, trying to get the hand pass to Hunter Clark. He's under pressure from Dangerfield as the footy is locked underneath those two. And the umpire will ball it up. St Kilda in their predominant black strip. The red, white and black on the front, and Geelong in the white hoops with the white shorts. Marshall wins down the tap. Overrunning the footy, Holmes. He can't extract it. Winhager's kick is off the outside of the boot. It might work for Darcy Wilson. Couldn't take it cleanly. Brian Myers' hand pass. Chopped off by Sinclair. Kicks up towards half forward. Keeler involved. It's spoiled away from him by Jack Henry. As the siren sounds for quarter time. And St Kilda fans will be very impressed with what they've seen so far. 6 goals, 137 to Geelong, 1-4-10. And the Saints, having been belted last week by the Adelaide Crows, have come with a statement tonight. 63-point losers last week, while the Cats were 78-point winners over the Fremantle Dockers. But Ross Lyon has come up with a style and a game plan to try and challenge the Cats. It is just one of 2 games they play at Docklands this season, 2025. And St Kilda with 103 disposals to Geelong's 67. And a bit of work for Chris Scott and the Cats to work on at quarter time. For the Saints, all individual goal kickers: Mason Wood, Jack Sinclair, Marcus Winhager, Mitch Owens, Jack Higgins and Lance Collard. Meanwhile, for the Cats, their 1 goal has come through Tyson Stengel. St Kilda leading by 27 points earlier today. It was dominant wins in the end for the Adelaide Crows, winning by 61 points over the Bombers. Their first win at the MCG in almost 8 years. Round 15, 2017, the last time they were victorious there. And Port Adelaide, 72-point winners over Richmond at the Adelaide Oval. Great to have your company. Of course, you can get in touch with us on the SMS 0437 774 774. Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
The World Test Championship is coming.
He gets connection here, lifts it over the keeper, 1 bounce for 4.
Australia versus South Africa.
And he nicks it, he's got him again.
Catch every ball on the ABC Listen app. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
So we're all in readiness. Geelong looking to continue their winning ways, and St Kilda keen for a bounce back. It's round 2 of the AFL.
So he comes in now, and then he opts just to chip it slightly forward. And he hits Windhager on the chest, strolls in, the kick looks good off the boot, and it sails through for the first. The Saints strike in the opening goal of the night.
Hand pass to Wanganeen Miller, the smooth mover, puts it to the top of the goal square. Owen pulls in the one-handed mark and takes the mark at the top of the goal square. The 4th-year Saint, what a start it is as Mitch Owen comes in, and the Saints have the opening 2 goals of the match.
Quick hands to O'Connor, hand pass across to Bowes. He'll be able to chip it inside 50 as Stengel who marks. Left forward pocket, quick on the turnover. Tyson Stengel with the snap, does not miss this time. Geelong's first goal for tonight.
Cuts back on his right, inboard, he looks inside 50. Owen and Stewart use his body superbly, taps it onto Higgins. He's the last standing, swings onto his right and finishes. Just the scenario which Jack Higgins absolutely loves. Inside 50's one-on-one, kicks towards Owen. Back with a flight, crash into opponent. I think he was paid the free kick. Higgins takes the advantage. Collard at the top of the goal square, gathers, kicks over his shoulder. Another one for the Saints.
Hand pass to Sinclair. He'll have a shot at himself, Hill goal. The slow approach and then the quick finish. And Sinclair with another goal for the Saints. McIntyre pulls it out. And the chip kick right inside 50 to Mason Wood. Once the mark. Really thrived since coming across from North Melbourne. Has a skip as he walks over the line of 50. Puts the ball towards goals. And he sends this one home as well.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
The Saints are on the march in that opening quarter. 27-point leaders over Geelong. 6-1-37 to the Cats. 1-4-10. Matt Clinch alongside Lauren Borden calling the action. Alexis Pesher is on the boundary. The thoughts of our experts Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke.
Just some crucial stats to start with. 13 to 8 clearances. Max Holmes has had the one disposal. You don't see that very often. Marcus Winderhager is going to him and doing a fantastic job. I mentioned through the first quarter, every St Kilda player that runs past him puts their palm into his shoulder or into his chest and making it really hard. I've been on the end of one of those games when Ross Lyon's been coaching the Saints against the Kangas a long time ago. And it's bloody hard to get away from 18 players, not your direct opponent. 33 to 15 marks, controlling the football, Berkey, as we've spoken about. The biggest thing for me, they are controlling the football and being very methodical in the way they go about it. But when they get on that quick play, they go in deep, and the Geelong defenders are running back towards goal. And for some reason, I don't know if it's through work rate or the Geelong players being too proactive, St Kilda are outnumbering Geelong in their own forward 53-2 most of the times, and that's how they've scored 2 or 3 goals. So Geelong are going to have to fix that up. And the other thing I'm loving, Berkey, that you've called, they're dropping their eyes. The Saints are dropping their eyes, and Mason Wood was on the end of a couple of them. The Geelong defenders are playing back shoulder. Something's going to have to change. They might have to start playing front shoulder and see if they can change this game, because right now, 6 goals to 1. I didn't see this coming.
No, not at all. And it's from those clearances, 10 to 4 are the stoppages around the ground in favour of the Saints. So those ball ups that aren't centre bounces, they're really cleaning those up. And time in possession, the Saints had the football 49%, and the Cats is 32. The rest of the umpires it's gone out of bounds. But 49%, that is a pretty big margin. And the uncontested possessions are 68 to 34. So they've absolutely doubled the Cats in those uncontested possessions. So Chris Scott, it's really obvious what the Saints are doing. The question is, how much do you change what you wanted to do at the start of the game? Or do you say, guys, we're not playing the way that we want to play? Because I dare say this is not the Cats brand of football that we're seeing at the moment. Let's just get better at us and let them chase us and see what actually happens. Get a little bit closer to your opponent, pay them respect. But they also did have a passage of play there, probably about 6 or 7 minutes, because inside 50s are the same, where they did miss a few easy ones. They did blast away. They weren't great going inside 50, so they have had some opportunities. So it'd be interesting to see with the Cats, is it let's get back to us or let's change to stop them?
Alexia Pesce on the boundary. What's the latest with Tom Stewart?
Well, he's out there now, so he's going to start. He came out with strapping on his right knee. I thought it was an ankle, but he's starting, so I guess that's a good sign.
Certainly is. Tyson Singles, the other one who spent a bit of time on the bench, but he is right to go. St Kilda leading by 27 points on the SMS 0437 774 774. Cheerio to Brownie and Chook, who are listening from Darwin. Loving the call, and congratulations to Scotty as his 50th birthday tonight. Start of the second quarter, no clearance from Mitch Nevitt as he's locked up by Jack McRae.
Just looking at what happened to Tom Stewart, he was just chasing the ball and just landed on his knee. There was no twist or anything like that, so hopefully just a bit of a bruise.
Sam De Koning thumps it forward for Geelong, but it's gathered by Webster. Hand pass to McRae. Wanganeen Miller looks up to the wing where Jack Steele takes them up. Hand pass to Zach Jones. Possession number 10 coming up for him. Leading possession getter on the ground. Inside 50. Wood can't take the mark. Marshall to Sinclair to McRae. All the smooth movers involved, and Higgins out the back. Takes the mark, leading to the left forward pocket. And rising with a couple of metres space, his opponent Mark Blitzhouse is never going to able to close the gap.
Really smart there, lead by Higgins. He knew he had a taller Blitzhouse in front of him, so no good trying and get him on the lead, because Blitzhouse will go with him. So saw a hole out the back, started on that 45 degree, and a really good hit by McRae.
In the right forward pocket, a chance for St Kilda to immediately continue on in this second quarter. Out to the right, 35 metres out. He misses to the right-hand side. Just a little off balance maybe as he struck it. And a minor score. St Kilda by 28 points.
It's a big miss, Berkey, because that's 7 goals to 1. It's going to be hard for the Cats to come back from there if he kicks that one.
So it's Zach Guthrie trying to move Geelong out of defence quickly, and here is Holmes, who needs to lift and have a big second term for the Cats.
Yeah, Holmes started it on the half-forward flank there and then come straight up on the ball after the first stoppage.
Long kick down. He was looking for Nevitt, who rose up, couldn't take the mark. Stocker had a go at it. Hand pass across to Hill, and then Stocker gets it back. He's tackled by De Koning. Umpire says play on. Atkins comes in for the Cats. Hand pass comes away to O'Connor, looks behind him, knows he's got some space, and can then kick the Cats inside 50. It's a 3-on-1. The mark will be taken and paid to Neil. He was outnumbered, but he got his hands up early, and he's paid the mark as his 3 opponents came clattering in around him.
Yeah, he did well then because he had Marshall on the side, he had Caminetti in front and Sinclair from behind, and got enough on it, according to the umpire.
So Shannon Neal, who took his opportunity last year when Tom Hawkins was injured with his foot injury, came in, kept his place in the side, and now looks to be that next big forward to take over from Hawkins. He takes his kick, 35 metres out, curls it in beautifully. Shannon Neal stops a run of 4 straight goals for the Saints, and he brings the margin back to 22 points, the advantage of St Kilda. Geelong 2-4-16, St Kilda 6-2-38. Just a couple of minutes played in the second term of this round 2 match on ABC Sport.
Well, in the end, Berkey, that was just a bit of brilliance from a personal level, wasn't it? It was a great mark, as you called, 3 people all converging on him, and he had the sticky hands, and it was a beautiful finish from the right forward pocket. So the Saints have just got to get their little bit of composure. They've got the game on their terms. They've got to keep it on their terms for the next 6, 7, 8 minutes, and they can nearly kill the game in this first half if they score a couple more. What
I love was Rowan Marshall sort of was gesticulating fairly fiercely at the defenders for leaving Shannon Neal by himself, and the ruckman being the one has to come back and try and spoil that ball. He wants his defenders getting closer to their opponents.
Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. Free kick in the middle of the ground, a hold against the Cats, and Jack McRae takes the free kick. Hand pass to Windhager, to Marshall, who broke forward. He marks at the edge of the centre square. Long ball inside 50. Killer the target, punched away by Jack Henry. Higgins is front and centre. Jack Henry right over the top and locks the ball in underneath. St Kilda by 22 points. Only about 25 metres out from the Saints' goal. Blitzhouse is going to do the ruck work against Keeler on debut. Comfortably wins down the tap the Cats. It's Jack McRae who gives the hand pass to Jones. Good centering kick. Finds Windhager.
Yeah, direct opponent Max Holmes, who didn't want a bar of it when he's been getting tagged. He just keeps running away from Windhager. Windhager put himself in a fantastic spot there. Beautiful kick by Jones.
And if you're tagging, the best thing you can do is kick goals. And this could be his second.
Zach Jones is up to 11 disposals as well, so finally getting a bit of luck with his body.
Playing on the wing tonight, just solely on the wing.
Out of contract at season's end, having got a 1-year extension at the end of last. Marcus Windhager directly in front. A chance for his second to immediately respond for the Saints. He comes in, fires it at the left goal post, and it hits into it.
That's 2 now, Berkey.
Yeah.
2 goals that you just got to nail. And when you're beating teams like Geelong, them 2 goals right there from Higgins and Windhager, they need to kick. Their basic set shot from 35 metres out.
The hardest shot this quarter has been kicked by Shannon Neal, and the 2 easy ones have been missed.
Zach Guthrie with a long kick outside of defensive 50 all the way to the wing. Players running after it. It's taken by Higgins. Hand pass to Windhager, and the Saints will get the footy right to half forward again. Wilson running onto it. Hand pass across to Wood. He tried to hand pass to the voice of Hill. It was stolen by Mullen. Cats with the footy. They've turned it over again. McRae now takes it. Hand passes it across to Wilson. He'll put the Saints back inside 50. Jack Henry with a one-handed mark. Intercepts it for the Cats. And slows down the footy as all the players run away from him. He goes long outside of defensive 50. Looking for Nevitt. Hill was there. Gets a tap away and pulls the mark in. And he's paid the mark as well, even though Nevitt got a fair chunk of that. Chips it across to his captain in Steele. Left half forward, moves it in to stock up. At centre half forward, puts it into a whole lot of space and no one in particular. In comes Wilson again, who's been pretty busy in the last minute or so, but sees it over the boundary line for a throw-in. About 55 metres out from St Kilda's goal. They're leading by 23 points 6 minutes into the second quarter.
Wouldn't mind that kick from their captain going straight in the top of the goal square and just putting Geelong under the pump a little bit. They'll already be really nervous. If St Kilda kick the next goal, things have got to tighten up. I'd love that ball to go inside 50.
Thrown in, De Koning and Marshall off hands. It spills back to De Koning. Can't get a disposal away. Nevitt tries to get a hand pass clear. Wilson spinning out of traffic. Hand pass to Burns. Kicks St Kilda inside 50. Charging out Blitzavs. Tackled by Mitch Owen. Off hands from Tom Atkins. It stays in. Jack McRae down low looking for Higgins one-on-one with Zach Guthrie. A whistle for a hold. Not officiating umpire. It's going the way of the Saints. It's all going St Kilda's way at the moment.
Yeah, not dissimilar to where he had a shot not long ago. Didn't go through. He's not. I think this one he's probably going to go around the corner because he's on enough of an angle. Oops, here we go.
He opens up the angle, tries to snap across his body, and this time Jack Higgins kicks his second. He loves a snag, and St Kilda are enjoying it under the roof of Docklands tonight. 7-3-45 to Geelong 2-4-16. A goal apiece so far in this second quarter. The Saints by 29 points. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Alexis Pesher is on the boundary. Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke.
That was fantastic forward craft by a little guy in Jack Higgins. He just protected the ball drop and a tiny little pull on the jumper by Zach Guthrie just earns him a free kick. And a little bit unorthodox for the left foot snap there, Burkey. I'm not sure. A nice little old-fashioned drop punt might have been nicer.
Lex Pesher on the boundary.
It looks like Geelong will make their sub. Ted Closey's put the playing jumper on. He's put his shirt back on. But Tom Stewart's back on the bench and he looks a bit in discomfort.
Thanks, Lex. Keep us updated. It's a big out if Tom Stewart's stuck on the bench for the next three quarters as the umpire puts everything into his bounce. Looks to be a little bit of a flat centre circle and it goes up and Hunter Clark will run after it, grabs the footy, gathers. Lawson Humphries gets a kick to it. Well done by the youngster who can hand pass it away to De Koning, hand pass it away to Bowes and puts it up to centre half forward. And no mark will be taken. Cameron with the footy. We haven't seen much of him tonight and he's wrapped up for a ball up centre half forward for the Cats.
You beat me to it, Loz. I'm going to say you haven't seen much of him at all. He's only had the 2 possessions.
So up it goes. Dempsey has a go at it. He can't gather it. And then in goes Hunter Clark. Dempsey gets it back again. Quick little kick towards Close, 5 or 6 metres away. And Close is wrapped up just inside forward 50 where we'll have a ball up. St Kilda ahead by 29.
Lex on the boundary.
Tom Stewart has been subbed off. He's just put the shirt back on, so big news to see what actually that diagnosis is.
Ted Closey will come into the game. He was the late inclusion for Bailey Smith, who's out with a calf concern. Free kick going the way of the Saints. Roll Marshall inside the defensive 50 to Wilkie. Kicks out to Stocker. Has it left half back. St Kilda by 29 points. Around the boundary line, he kicks to Zach Jones.
Really spreading the ground on the Cats, the Saints are, making them go really wide and defend.
Without Bailey Smith, really posing the question to Geelong. Are you willing to chase? Big kick up the wing. Good fly from Connor O'Sullivan, who takes the mark across half back.
It's one of the few times they've had to bomb the ball long, and it played straight into the Cats' hands. They love that style of football.
Problem when you're 198 centimetres is it doesn't look as impressive when you rise and land on your feet. They switch it back inside 50. Nevitt, Sam De Koning, not a great kick, turns it over. Here's Liam O'Connell, the Irishman, who chips it over the top to Hunter Clark in game 100. His 8th year in the AFL system. He's had some injury concerns, but he gets to that 100-game milestone. On his left, short pass to Winhager, barely 15. Still at left half forward. Jones wants it wide. He honours that lead on the bounce. He has to gather. Jeremy Cameron corrals him. Hand pass back to Hunter Clark. Hard out at left half forward. Pulls the kick towards the teeth of goal. Marshall spoils it down. Higgins front and centre. Hand pass to Collard into the open goal. He puts through his second. They're running all over the Cats at the moment. And St Kilda are making them pay. A game-high 35-point advantage. 8 goals to 2. 8-3-51 to Geelong 2-4-16. And some fans who might have come along tonight thinking they might see a one-sided affair, they are, but it's the way of the Saints. Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey.
Geelong just look like a completely different outfit. Yes, Bailey Smith is out of the team. Max Holmes is getting ran with pretty closely. Patrick Dangerfield has been in the goal square for 90% of this first and second quarter. And Jeremy Cameron is now up on the wing because he can't get into the game either. They're getting no flow on the ball, and this is all because Saints have got their fantastic matchups and their sharp ball movement.
And Max Holmes doesn't know where he's going, and now they're saying, mate, get in the back line. So he's coming off the half back line. That is certainly a win for the Saints.
So St Kilda kicked 10 goals in total last week in a 63-point defeat. They've now kicked 8 already, and we're just 11 minutes into the second quarter. Bounce restarts play in the middle. Blitzarves palms it down into the path of Clark. He can't gather it, and it's pushed away by Hunter Clark in the end. Lawson Humphries will take the mark, though, for Geelong. He hand passes backwards towards Cameron, who's getting a touch now. Centre half back, kicks it out wide to Nevitt, and he'll take the mark. Centre wing as Geelong look to surge ahead and go inside 50 and try and stem some of what St Kilda has on them at the moment. Inside 50, it'll be a free kick here, going the way of Blitzarves against Marshall. Perhaps pulling him down, tugging at him a little.
Front on contact he paid.
And it'll be a free kick. He hand passes it across to Cameron, who's Henry rather, who's standing. But it'll be coming back now to Blitzarves because everyone wasn't ready. The umpire wants to pull it back. No advantage paid. Blitzarves will take the footy back, and it will be his set shot now.
Well, Blitzarves has gone into ruck to try and just create a bit more sort of dynamism around the contest and make Rowan Marshall chase him, which he did by pushing really hard forward.
So Blitzarves now about 35 metres out from goal, 45-degree angle. They need this one, and Blitzarves delivers. It's exactly what Geelong needed after a couple of goals in a row from the Saints. And the Saints have had their measure so far this game. It'll bring the margin back to 29 points, the advantage of St Kilda. The Saints 8-3-51, and Geelong will be 3-4-22.
Free kick there, Berkey.
Well, the umpire will say he took his eyes off the ball, but there's no rule that says you have to have your eyes on the ball from the time it leaves the player's foot to the time that you get into the marking contest. You can look at the player, and when the ball comes, turn around and look at the ball. But the umpires don't see that. As soon as they see your eyes off the ball, they just pay a free kick.
I didn't think there was much in it at all.
So the Cats get one back, but they've got a bit of work still to be done. Back in the middle of the ground. Blitzarves wins down the tap against Keilor. Spills out the way of the Saints. On all fours, Hunter Clark trying to get a hand pass away. Non-official hand pass. Throw. Free kick going the way of Geelong. And Jai Clark will take it. He tries to play on. Sidesteps around Brad Hill. Drives Geelong inside 50 on the lead. Great pass. Leading up, Ollie Henry takes the mark on his chest. He's another who's been a little quiet tonight, but he's a chance to get involved here.
Fantastic play by young Clark, wasn't it? Took the game on, got around the speedy Brad Hill and delivered that ball inside 50. That was absolutely beautiful kick.
Yeah, Hunter Clark just coming off a little bit ginger, talking to the doctor and medical staff down there now as well.
Out to the right for Ollie Henry as he starts his approach. Outside 50. Can the Cats put on 2 in a row? He comes in, leans back on it. It's right all the way. And a minor score. 28-point lead St Kilda's way as we tick past 12 minutes gone in the second quarter.
And the Saints move the ball quickly. Wanganeen Millera, hand pass to Stocker, hand pass across to Wilkie. He'll go long, right down the wing in front of the interchange benches. And Max Holmes rises up, takes front position and clunks the mark.
There's that long kick again. The Cats, again, they'll chop it off halfway every single time.
Holmes weaves around Windhager, then goes into the forward pocket for the Cats. Wanganeen Millera back there for St Kilda. Sits back and intercepts the footy for the Saints.
You talk about Max Holmes going to half-back being a win, Berkey. Jeremy Cameron up onto the wing, also a win for the Saints.
Caminiti across to Hill, and they use it with a 1-2 to work it out of defensive 50 for the Saints. Burns kicks it into the man on the mark and then takes it back to go further. And he kicks it 25 metres further forward to find Hall. Second game for the Saints. Long kick from Hall right down the wing towards Wilson. Couldn't take the mark. It'll spill down and it'll be a free kick to Mitch Owens, in fact, with the free kick. Centre wing outer side of Dockland Stadium. A good crowd in tonight for this round 2 match between these two sides. Owen, long kick inside 50. Drops at about 35 metres away from St Kilda's goals. In comes Wood to take it. He's tackled by Atkins, falls out. Cameron, hand pass across to Nevitt. His kick smothered. Stolen by Steele. Still with the Saints here. Hand pass across to Mason Wood. And it's another goal for St Kilda. And another one for Mason Wood as well. They immediately reply to the Blitzarves goal at the other end. And the Saints put another score on the board. 15 minutes played in the second term, and the Saints extend their margin back out to 34 points.
Really poor defensive structure there by Geelong. The ball was bumbling around in the Saints forward pocket. There was 5 Geelong players at the ball. Just trying to see who was it was a great smother there by Jack Steele, who then fed the ball out. And if Wood didn't kick the goal, Collard was probably going to kick the goal, because they had 2 players just waiting on the outside of the pack for the ball to be fed out. So really bad defensive structure there by the Cats.
3 amazing efforts by Mason Wood. He went for the mark and got pushed underneath the ball, but he was the one that turned his player around and made a little bit of a hustle-bustle on the ball and kept it alive. Then gets on his feet, gets a handball receive and kicks a fantastic goal. So 3 amazing efforts. Well done, Mason Wood.
Nathan Burke, Brent Harvey, Matt Clinch, Lauren Borden, Alexa Pesce on the boundary. All of a sudden, the Saints with Mason Wood second restore a 34-point advantage, and the umpire have a secondary ball up in the middle of the ground. Blitz Avs and Rowan Marshall spills out the way of Nevitt, can't get a disposal away.
Saints have moved Darcy Wilson over to Jeremy Cameron's wing. He's probably better running up and down than Zach Jones, who's now gone inside on ball.
Ball was stuck underneath Hall, so the umpire balls it up once more. Blitz Avs got a quick kick out of the congestion, but only as far as Sinclair. Inside 50, Jack Henry set himself, got underneath it. Humphreys cleans it up for Geelong. Hand pass to Atkins to Blitz Avs, trying to get involved as he kicks through the middle of the ground. Sinclair cuts in front of Stengel, repels another attack for Geelong. Hand pass to Brad Hill, kicks out wide of the umpire. On the bounce it works to Burns. Hand pass over the top of Dempsey to Wanganeen Millerer around the boundary line. Hand pass to Steele on his left, he kicks wide of Collard. And it bounces out of play in front of Zach Guthrie. Umpire says throw it in. St Kilda 9-3-57 to Geelong 3-5-23. That's right, it's the Saints with 9 goals to 3. 12 minutes gone. I think that clock's frozen as well. We've got a few technical issues here with some of the technology here at Docklands.
The scoreboard a bit frozen as the ball is tossed in. Bose goes in after it, pushes it away, then goes back in to do the tackling to lock up the footy. And he locks up Hall as well, who gets out from the bottom of the pack and will hand the footy back to the umpire for another ball up. 40 metres out from St Kilda's goal. Marshall and Blitzarves in the ruck. Marshall might have been ripped off it by Blitzarves. Umpire says play on, clear and kick out of St Kilda's defence. Burns has a go at it. Nice tap towards Wanganeen Millerer, who's under pressure. Throws it out and the umpire doesn't pin him for it. So Burns takes the footy and will send it back down the wing for St Kilda. Across to McRae. He'll dart the kick inside 50 into the forward pocket looking for Owens. Couldn't take the mark. Guthrie punching the footy away from him, but it will be a throw-in. This time 40 metres around from St Kilda's goal. They'll have an opportunity now to go forward and kick their 4th goal of the quarter. The Saints with a commanding 35-point lead.
Disposals 150 to 90. The Cats just can't keep the ball.
It's Avs and Marshall. Marshall wins down the tap. Spills outside 50. Byrne trying to get it to Sinclair. Hand pass to McRae to Zach Jones through traffic. Couldn't link up with Wanganeen Millerer. Mason Wood ran onto it. Tackled. Dispossessed in the end. No whistle. Ball spills out Geelong's way. Cameron on half back. Hand pass chopped off. Darcy Wilson gathers. His kick is smothered by Jack Henry. Spills out the way to Wanganeen Millerer. Beautiful sidestep. Can I have this dance? As he steadies from 45 and misses. That would have resulted in Saints fans jumping to their feet.
I think everyone would have jumped to the field. It would have been a fantastic goal, Clinchy.
Just missed to the right-hand side. And it's a 35-point lead the Saints' way.
So Geelong under all sorts of pressure here. Lawson Humphreys trying to get it to Bose. Might have been taken high by Higgins. He leant into the tackle. Wilson with it just keeps it in from the boundary line. No, he doesn't. And it'll be a throw-in 55 metres out from St Kilda's goal. So Saints fans happy with what they're seeing so far as they lock it in their forward half yet again.
Yeah, happy with that pressure from Higgins and Wilson and Jones. Just really just made the Cats defenders they're very shaky. They're fumbling. They're just uncertain of what to do.
It's Marshall who taps it away, but it'll be stolen and taken by Clark, putting it in the path of close. Wanganeen Millerer gets there first. Hand passes it away. Stengel tries to get it. Good work from Windhager to worry him off the footy. Then Windhager does the tackling. As the ball comes out to Clark, he kicks down the wing towards Closey, who's come into the side as the sub. Tom Stewart injured and off the ground for the remainder of the match. He kicks across to Myers. Right half forward. Myers will just go himself and run. 45 metres out from goals. Myers will have a shot himself. It'll be tapped across for a rush behind. He almost had it on line, Myers, as he had a shot at goals. Just missed. And another minor score for Geelong. They're 3-6 and Kilda 9-4. It's 5 points St Kilda's lead. 21 minutes gone in the second quarter.
3 Geelong players just give Myers a really big cook because he had to drop his eyes. They were sitting on top of the goal square.
Sinclair to Webster, brings the Saints back into play to Zach Jones. Off a step, a worm burner to Wanganeen Millerer. He's so smooth with the footy. Chips it inboard to McRae. Hand pass to Hill. They're running rings around the Cats at the moment. Up towards half forward. A hand pass to Winhager. Looks at the options inside 50. Higgins is all on his own. Swings onto his right, rubs salt into the wound and kicks his third. Jack Higgins with his arm in the air as he curls it around the cold up for another goal for the Saints, and they lead by 40 points. 10-4-64 to Geelong 3-6-24. So in this quarter, the Saints all of a sudden have kicked 4 goals to 2. Alexia Pesher on the boundary.
So Clark has just come back down. He's doing a little test, but it looks like he's really struggling to hit that top pace and really put in some effort. So we'll see what they do with him, but it doesn't look good for now. I think it's a groin at this point.
Berkey, that is as open or as poor as I have seen Geelong.
Geelong-like was the
very
phrase
long
going through my
time.
head.
That was amazing. Higgins had time to mark the ball. The kick wasn't even really for him, but he just had no opponent. Turned around, the ball falls in his lap. Nobody on the mark. I'm just going to turn around and kick a goal. I haven't seen this from Geelong for a long, long time.
I give credit to Zach Jones down here. The Saints look a little bit stuck on the half-back line, but he just worked his backside off and got free, and then from then it was just off to the races.
Dangerfield with the footy, and he gets tackled by his opposing captain, Jack Steele. Is the umpire still allowing play to go on? He hasn't called the whistle. He has. It'll be a St Kilda free kick.
Both umpires were just looking at each other then. Didn't know whose area it was in. Shouldn't be paid 3 seconds earlier.
So Jack Steele does win the free kick in the end for his tackle. Kicks it across to Wilkie. He'll put it inside the forward pocket. He was looking for Wilson, who couldn't take the mark, and it'll dribble on the boundary line. O'Connor can pick it up, keep it in play for the Cats. He was looking for the help from De Koning, but instead it's Jones who takes it for the Saints. Hand passes it away. Cameron has it. He is tackled. Still play on. Now 35 metres out from St Kilda's goal. O'Connell tries to get it out. Hand passes it away. Collard's there as well for the Saints. In the end, 2 Saints go on the tackling rampage against Humphreys and take the ball outside. And is that intent that has St Kilda ahead by 40 points at the moment, as we have a ball up right on the paint of 50, Dockland side of the ground.
Berkey, Zach Jones, yes, with ball in hand's been fantastic, and he's had the 16 disposals, but it's the stuff he's doing without the ball as well, the chasing, the tackling, the body pressure that he's putting on the Geelong players.
St Kilda had a pressure of over 220 in the first quarter, over 200 in the second as well. Lawson Humphreys trying to spin out of traffic in the back pocket. Hand pass picked off by Zach Jones. Hand pass to Winhager, wobbles the kick towards goal. Jack Henry takes the mark. Pushed Isaac Keeler underneath it and finds an avenue out of defence as Ollie Dempsey takes the mark in the left back pocket. Kicks up towards the wing. Closely the target. Hunter Clark. In fact, it was Stocker who came charging in, makes the spoil. Footy locked to the chest to Connor O'Sullivan. Saints fans squealing for ball. And the umpire says he'll throw it up.
Stocker was outstanding then. He ran 40 metres up to the wing to spoil that ball that was coming over the back. It was an outstanding effort.
Marshall with the tap towards Steele, and it'll bounce its way over the boundary line for another throw-in. Centre wing outer side of the ground. Kilda still with their sub, Hugo Garcia, who's sitting on the boundary line, and Geelong had used Ted Closey on for Tom Stewart. Closey in with Bailey Smith, laid out with a calf injury. Umpire tosses the ball in. De Koning tries to get the tap away, and then Windhager gets a further tap for the Saints. It's picked up by Holmes, though, who spins around and sends the ball back towards Geelong's forward half. It'll be coming back towards him by Burns, who just kicks it off the ground. And McRae takes the mark right at centre wing.
Just far too many loose players from the Saints. The Cats, they're not manning up, they're not zoning, they're all at sea.
McRae with a long kick to the top of the 50, comes out the back and Holmes can take it. Hand pass backwards towards Humphreys. Just gets a kick away. The mark is spilled though by Closey. It comes back to him. He was able to recover with help from O'Connor, and he kicks long down right into the centre of Docklands, into the centre square. Wilkie can take it though. It's coming back for the Saints as the hand pass goes to Windhager. Hand pass to Jones, who's been a part of everything. He goes inside 50. It was a 2-on-1, not favouring Wilson. And the ball is punched out of the boundary line, and it'll be a throw in about 50 metres out from St Kilda's goal.
He just missed, Zach Jones just missed an easy opportunity to hit Collard on the top of the 50 there, Berkey. Had it hit that, might have been one more kick. Drop your eyes, another shot on goal for the Saints.
Saturday night footy on ABC Sports. Sam de Koning wins down the tap. Dangerfield inboard to Closey. Tackled and stripped of it. Zach Jones straight the footy in. It eventually comes out. Spills out the way of Humphreys of Geelong. Kicks up the wing towards the boundary line. Wilkie races towards it. Arms outstretched. Umpire had wound up for the big insufficient intent before the ball had even gone out.
It was quick, wasn't it?
Say that. The ball hadn't dribbled over and he was waving it over.
It's a St Kilda free kick as Cal Wilkie quickly takes it and works it back to Caminiti. Alexia Pesher on the boundary.
It's good news for Hunter Clark. He's back up and looks like he's ready to go back out there.
Thanks, Lex. St Kilda leading by 40 points as Caminiti kicks up towards half forward. Big fly from the back from Sam de Koning. Couldn't come down with the footy. Spills out the way of Steele. Pinched by close of Geelong. Hand pass to Bowes. Through the middle of the ground. Trying to arch the back. Ollie Henry tackled. Gone. Umpire waves play on. He got a hand pass away despite the chase of Stocker. It's gathered by Winhager. Hand pass to Clark. Out wide. A lunging mark taken by Jack McRae. Possession number 21 coming up for him. Had over 40 last week. His kick inboard to Sinclair set him a challenge, and Mitch Nevitt is caught in a tackle, and 3 St Kilda players tackling him, showing the intent from the Saints tonight.
The Saints have just got to be really smart here. They don't need to score again, Berkey. They just don't want Geelong to score. And they go in with a massive lead at half-time with their heads high.
Right in front of the interchange gates, the umpire balls it up and Nevitt comes down with it again. He's tackled by Marshall to the turf.
Sending Wilkie back now as a spare.
And Wangan and Malera, they're pushing behind the ball as well with Brad Hill coming up onto the wing.
Sam de Koning palms it down. Hunter Clark takes the footy for the Saints. It's a hurried kick and Lawson Humphreys easily chops that one off, playing on Mitch Owens.
They just got to be smart, Burke. You don't need 2 behind the ball, just 1 to settle them, because if you do that, Geelong get 2 behind their ball and they can start their drive from half back.
And Geelong share it alongside the defensive unit until it makes its way to Jack Henry. He'll go out to O'Sullivan, centre wing, outer side of the ground, chips it forward to O'Sheen Mullen, who's got the footy now. Still a couple of kicks from home for Geelong. He'll kick to a pack, players will fly. In the end, it's close at the back of the pack. He crumbs it, he goals for Geelong. A late one in this second quarter is exactly what the Cats needed to stay in touch at half-time. And it comes from Brad Close. Geelong now 4-6-30, St Kilda 10-4-64. A lot of ground to make up for the Cats, trailing by 34 points late in the second quarter. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke.
That's the danger, Burke. You're putting 2 behind the ball. You leave 2 spare for Geelong, and they've got 2 through the mid-half-back area. And most clubs now start their drive and their score launches from the half-back type of play. So that was well done by Geelong. Got the ball out wide, brought it back in, kicked it to the hot spot on the ground, and Close was a fantastic finish.
Yeah, poor spoiling there from the Saints as well. They wanted to be really fierce and threw their arms at it, but the ball came back into the corridor. That ball should have been banged 20 metres over the boundary line.
On the answer mat, 0437 774 774. Robin Greensborough. Cats need a call for a head count. Franny Melbourne enjoying the call, especially given it's not on a free air. Cats might have thought this would be a breeze. It certainly isn't. Free kick coming back in the middle of the ground, and Patrick Dangerfield is going to take it against Jack Steele. Marcus in South Melbourne. I wonder if the big win in 34-degree heat in the middle of the day took more out of Geelong than we realised. Cats did kick 10 goals in the final term, though. As Dangerfield looks up inside 50. What a pass. Max Holmes off balance, backtracking, and is able to juggle the mark in a one-on-one marking contest.
A long 50-metre kick, 60-metre kick into a forward line should not be allowed to be a one-on-one marking contest. Somebody has to come over the top and smash that one away. So 2 defensive lapses here from the Saints could cost them late.
Max Holmes protected the space against Marcus Winhager and then went back and pulled it in. Out to the right from 45 metres out for 2 quick ones for the Cats to close in. Max Holmes gets involved and Geelong have something to build on ahead of the main break. The margin is back to 28 points St Kilda's way. The Saints 10-4-64 to Geelong 5-6-36. Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey, your experts on ABC Sport.
You've just given them a little sniff now, Berkey, haven't you? That's 2 goals in the last 2 minutes. And we've still got a minute to go. So if Geelong scored another one here, they're going to go in with all the momentum at half-time and fill up and about. The Saints have done so much right. 2 red-time goals, just not good enough. And as we can see, Mason Wood playing on the wing now, starting on the corner of the square. So they're going to try to stop this play, and just, I mentioned it earlier, I mentioned it 4 minutes ago, Saints don't need to score anymore. They just don't want Geelong to score.
For all of St Kilda's dominance, it's now 4 goals apiece in this second term. So just giving Geelong that look in the last couple of minutes and on the scoreboard as well. It'll be De Koning against Marshall in the ruck, and Marshall with the tap out. Dangerfield gets a fingertip on it. Back to Marshall. Danger goes in again. Marshall's still on the turf and can hand pass it away to Steele, who quickly flicks it away to Sinclair. And the hand pass will come across to Darcy Wilson. He'll dart the kick to the top of the 50. Left half forward for Mitch Owens in a battle with Guthrie. Neither of them win out in the end, and Wilson keeps running to grab the footy. He's hand passing it across to Jones, who's happy to tap that over the boundary line. And it will be a throw-in just to the left of the St Kilda bench. So a throw-in to come as Nevitt has a little bit of a push and shove with another youngster in Collard, who now goes and takes his place inside the 50. Marshall and Blitzarves get a tap to it. Sinclair takes it. He's taken high by Holmes, and it'll be a free kick to the Saints, and Sinclair will have it about at centre wing. He's side ahead by 28.
He looks up inside 50. That's a great pass to Rowan Marshall. Takes it out to the left and points towards the big sticks, knowing that time is counting down.
We're inside the last 30 seconds now, so could be the last kick. But
can he kick that far, Berkey?
He can. Yep.
Put your house on it?
No. Put your house on it.
Okay.
It's a huge kick in the context of the game, though, isn't it? Like, if he kicks this, they go in with their heads held up high. If they don't, Geelong have had the momentum in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Shot clock is at 4 as he started to walk in, so maybe listening to you, Brent Harvey, to take some time off the clock. Out to the left, Ryan Marshall fires on goal. It's left all the way and comes in for a minor score to close out the half. St Kilda by 29 points at the main break. Who saw this coming? St Kilda 10-5-65 to Geelong 5-6-36. This is after opposite results last week. St Kilda went down by 63 points to the Crows, and the Cats had a 78-point shellacking of the Fremantle Dockers, but at half-time, it's St Kilda who lead by 29 points under the roof of Docklands. Your thoughts on the SMS, 0437 774 774. Andrew says the Saints did this to the Cats last year. Yep, Chris Scott made reference to that, to the fact that they've had a good method and system, the Saints, when they played Geelong at Docklands, but felt like there was more of a difference when they played later in the year than earlier in the year. Brett in Canberra says, it seems to me such a long season, so difficult to maintain intensity of effort each week. Grand final is 6 months away. I'd be interested to hear from your esteemed colleagues how you maintain the momentum each week. That's certainly a good one. And a few other thoughts coming through from, that was the one I was trying to find. Wayne in Elizabeth, really enjoying Lauren's work, has an excellent feel to it. Great to have Lauren Borden alongside Matt Clinch, Alexia Pesce on the boundary. The thoughts of our experts, Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey.
Well, Berkey, a great start by the Saints in particular, that first part of the quarter. Just 2 red time goals really hurt them. The big question for Geelong, how do they get their stars in the game now? Dangerfield has had about 6 or 7 possessions, I think. He's hasn't had a lot of it. 5, is it?
5.
Cameron hasn't really. What's Cameron's stats there?
Cameron's had 6.
6. He's come up.
had 2.
Stengel, that's the other one I've got written down. Stengel. So how about Holmes? What's Holmes
has
had?
had 6.
6. So they're the 4 big ones for me. Dangerfield, Cameron, Stengel and Holmes, all under 6 possessions. They've done a fantastic job, the Saints, stifle those stars. Now that Tom Stewart's out of the team, or out of the game, I should say, they look completely different, the Cats. They're not set up the way that they normally set up. I've never seen Geelong, and we called it through that second quarter, I've never seen Geelong be so dismantled in their back 50, where Jack Higgins just had an eternity to mark the football on his own, then turn and kick under no pressure at all when it sort of should have been a set shot. And on the other hand, the Saints are doing so much right. I'm loving what they're doing with their run and carry. They know when to go fast and they know when to go slow. They've had a great mix of it. I think it's been a masterclass from the coach, Ross Lyon, Berkey. From last week, he had to change a few things, and the first half he's certainly changed things, dropping their eyes, going around Geelong's defence, going fast when they need to. It's been a fantastic start by the Saints.
Yeah, a couple of key stats that they need to maintain if they're going to win this game. And we know these days 5 goals is it's the old 2 goals. It's size can kick 5 and get a run on very, very quickly. But uncontested possessions were 138 to 69. And it's not because they're just overusing the ball and just having multiple handballs all in a little, in a phone booth and just chalking up uncontested ones that way. They're uncontested possessions with a purpose, to actually maintain possession, to move the ball down the field so that we can then get the ball inside 50. So inside 50s are 31 to 20. So those uncontested possessions are ending up with inside 50s, which, as we know, in modern football, you can kick the ball backwards and forwards across your back line and get 1,000 uncontested possessions, but it doesn't end up in scoring opportunities. And that's the difference in the Saints' game plan today. Marks 58 to 37. So they're doing that really, really well. When they got a little bit tired towards the end of that quarter, the propensity to go back and kick the ball long just crept in a little bit. And I reckon they lost nearly every single one of those ones that they kicked the ball long. So the only time that they should kick long is if they wheel around and the ball goes long inside their forward 50. Any other time it's a long kick than that, just don't do it. Just be patient. Maintain possession, because the Cats allowing you to move those uncontested possessions down the ground. The back line don't have a lot of the footy today because they're not kicking backwards and sideways. They're actually going forward. So be proactive with those short passes. For Geelong, you mentioned about it, they're good players. Need to start playing well, get themselves into the game, not relying on getting the ball on the outside. They might have to win a few tough contested footy, because the stoppage clearances around the ground are 19 to 8 in favour of the Saints. So that's when they need to get busy. They need to get their hand on the footy. Cameron, I'd come up into the stoppages. We know he's good at that. And then sprint forward, so he needs to be a lot more dynamic than what he's being at the moment. But
it's a win, though, for St Kilda when Jeremy Cameron comes up to the wing.
Yeah.
And
he can't kick it to himself inside 50.
Yeah, one of those plays, I didn't call it, but Jeremy Cameron was the deepest Geelong player on the ground in their defensive 50. That's a huge win for the Saints. And he hasn't hit the scoreboard. I think he might have only taken 1 or 2 marks. You don't see that from Jeremy Cameron, one of the best players in the competition. So a huge tick for the Saints for negating his style of play and getting him to come up onto the ball. For all the dominance, Berkey, for the quarter, if you took the scoreboard out of it, I would have looked as a whole and I would have thought St Kilda were well over him. They only won the quarter by 3 points. They had a couple of missed opportunities really early. I think it was Winhager and Higgins. They just needed to nail those goals. And then, of course, we've already spoken about those 2 late red time goals for the Cats. So for all that they did right, they still only won the quarter by 3 points. Still up by 30 points, which is a fantastic start for the Saints.
Yeah, you'd rather be that way. And they know how they got 30 points up, so they need to keep doing it. So whether the Cats allow them to keep doing it, we'll wait and see. But for the SMSer who said it's a long season and how do you keep getting up, there's a really simple answer. It's your job. This is your job.
I thought you were going to say winning.
No. This is your
job. It
helps. You're getting paid a lot of money to get up week after week, to do what you need to do so that you're mentally and physically fresh on the weekend to get up again and again and again. Now, it's not easy, and that's why you get paid a lot of money. But the good players will find a way, the good coaches will find a way to get their team up. You will have your down one every now and again, but this is your job. So, whoever SMS'd in, you've probably got a job as well. And your coach, your boss expects you to turn up each day and do your best.
You find a way, don't you? Get out of bed at 5:30am and get to work by 6. It's exactly the same.
Same for these guys.
That was Brett in Canberra, so there you go. Asked and answered. Andrew says the Saints did this to the Cats last year. I think we read that. Kylie from Drysdale says, I think Geelong will still win. The Saints will stop to a walk. Craig in Canberra said, who saw this coming? Anyone who's been supporting the Cats before 2007. The Ding Dang in Moorabbin says, what is the Cats' record at Docklands over the past 3 years? Well, they've only really played St Kilda and the Western Bulldogs, so they are 2 wins and 3 losses. Their last 2 games have been losses for the Saints, one in 2024 in round 24 by round 24 minus 18 points, and back in round 23 in 2023 by 33 points. And Salvador says, masterclass is over. Game gets real in the third quarter. Cat wave is coming.
There we go.
So it's something to keep an eye on So the St Kilda pressure rating was 221 in that first half, 195 the way of the Cats. The average being around 183. And St Kilda with 138 uncontested possessions to Geelong's 70. 54 uncontested marks to 30 for Geelong. Jack Higgins has kicked 3 goals. 2 goals to Lance Collard and also to Mason Wood. Individuals to Winhager, Owens and Sinclair for the Saints, while for Geelong, all individual goal kickers, Holmes, Stengel and Neal. Jack McRae has 21 disposals. Zach Jones has 19. Messiah Wanganeen Miller with 15, while for the Cats, just 2 players in double digits, Lawson Humphreys and Zach Guthrie. Earlier today, it was a big win for the Crows, prevailing by 61 points in front of 46,000 at the MCG over the Bombers. 25-11-161 to Essendon, 15-10-100. It breaks an 8-year losing streak for the Crows at the MCG. And Port Adelaide prevailing by 72 points over the Tigers at the Adelaide Oval. Saints by 29 points here at Docklands. I'll pause and bring you the latest for the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News, I'm Eliza Getzi. The Israeli military says it's intercepted 3 rockets launched from Lebanon. The clash endangers a shaky truce that ended a year-long war between Israel and Lebanese armed group Hezbollah after the breakdown of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal in Gaza. Israel's army radio says the military was returning artillery fire. There were no reports of casualties from either side. The Lebanese Prime Minister says its military is looking into who fired the rockets. London's Heathrow Airport says it expects to return to full operations today after being closed for much of yesterday by a power outage. Flights at Heathrow were disrupted after an electrical substation fire knocked out its power supply, stranding thousands of passengers and causing travel turmoil worldwide. Heathrow is Europe's busiest airport and the world's 5th busiest. It says its teams have been working tirelessly to reopen after the forced closure. And one of the top tertiary education institutions in the United States, Columbia University in New York, has agreed to a number of changes demanded by the Trump administration as a precondition for a possible restoration of federal funding withdrawn over allegations of anti-Semitism on campus. Here's the BBC's Merlin Thomas.
This latest move by the Ivy League university to overhaul policies on protests and security appears to be a significant concession, coming after President Trump pulled some $400 million in funding from the institution, saying it had failed to fight anti-Semitism. The Trump administration had refused to consider returning funding without major changes to the New York University. The new measures include restrictions on demonstrations, an expansion of the university security team and its powers on campus, and a face mask ban for protesters.
US Senator Steve Daines, a strong supporter of President Donald Trump, has met with China's economic chief, Vice Premier He Lifeng, in Beijing. As he greeted the Montana Republican at the Great Hall of the People, He told reporters Daines will meet with Premier Li Qiang on Sunday. Daines' visit marks the first in-person meeting with top Chinese officials in Beijing by a US politician since Mr. Trump returned to the White House and immediately ratcheted up trade tensions with the world's second-largest economy. In February and again in March, Trump imposed tariffs on all Chinese goods, accusing Beijing of not doing enough to stem the flow of fentanyl into the United States. He's expected to unleash a round of tariffs in April on all countries that tax US imports, potentially including China. Back home, an Australian tourist has died and 2 others have been injured after a snorkelling boat capsized off the island of Bali. Courtney Barrett-Peters has more.
Indonesian police say the Sea Dragon boat was carrying 13 people, including 11 Australians, from a port in Bali to nearby island Nusa Penida when it became overwhelmed by high seas yesterday. A police spokesperson said the group was looking at underwater scenery when the boat was hit by a large wave, throwing the 39-year-old woman overboard before the vessel was capsized by a second wave. There were 12 survivors, including 2 Australians who were taken to a medical clinic in a stable condition. The woman's body has since been recovered. A spokesperson for the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade has confirmed it's providing her family with consular assistance.
Victoria Police says it's working with emergency services to rescue a man from inside an industrial silo in Melbourne's east. The man in his 60s was working at the site in Montrose when he fell into the silo around 4:30 this afternoon. Up to 30 rescuers from Victorian firefighting services are helping with the rescue. Ambulance paramedics are also on the scene. And the family of US boxing great George Foreman has announced his death at the age of 76. The two-time world heavyweight champion later gained global renown for his electric cooking grills that made him an icon of self-improvement and success for the baby boomer generation. His most famous bout was the so-called Rumble in the Jungle in what was then Zaire in Africa in 1974 against fellow great Muhammad Ali. He recalled that fight in an interview.
The sum total of me would be different if I had won that boxing match. I'm not happy about losing, but I'm happy that I had a chance to be in the ring with such a great man.
Foreman returned to the sport 10 years later, winning the heavyweight title a second time when he was 45. And in football, the West Tigers have stunned the Dolphins with a 30-18 victory in the NRL. The Finns had the better start in Brisbane, scoring 3 first-half tries. Sonia Turuva scored a double as the Tigers overran the home side late in the match. It's their second win of the season, while the struggling Dolphins are yet to taste victory. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News. For more news at any time, you can download the ABC Listen app.
The tradition continues. The Sheffield Shield Final on ABC Sport.
What about that? Unbelievable!
Catch every ball on the ABC Listen app from Wednesday. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Jack McRae down low looking for Higgins one-on-one with Zach Guthrie. A whistle for a hold. Non-officiating umpire. It's going the way of the Saints. It's all going St Kilda's way at the moment. He opens up the angle, tries to snap across his body, and this time Jack Higgins kicks his second. Marshall spoils it down. Higgins front and centre. Out pass to Collard into the open goal. He puts through his second. They're running all over the Cats at the moment.
Side 50, it'll be a free kick here, going the way of Blitzarves against Marshall. 35 metres out from goal, 45-degree angle. They need this one, and Blitzarves delivers. Stolen by Steele, still with the Saints here. Hand pass across to Mason Wood, and it's another goal for St Kilda, and another one for Mason Wood as well.
Up towards half forward, a half pass to Winhager. Looks at the options inside 50. Higgins is all on his own. Swings on to his right, rubs salt into the wound and kicks his third. Jack Higgins with his arm in the air as it curls it around the corner for another goal for the Saints.
Berkey, that is as open or as tall as I've seen Geelong.
Geelong-like was the
very long time. The kick wasn't even really for him, but he just had no opponent. Turned around, the ball falls in his lap. Nobody on the mark. I'm just going to turn around and kick a goal. I haven't seen this from Geelong for a long, long time.
Kick to a pack, players will fly. In the end, it's close at the back of the pack. He runs and he goals for Geelong. A late one in this second quarter is exactly what the Cats needed to stay in touch at half-time.
Dangerfield looks up inside 50. What a pass. Max Holmes off balance, backtracking and is able to juggle the mark. For 2 quick ones for the Cats to close in. Max Holmes gets involved and Geelong have something to build on.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Half-time at Docklands to Saturday night footy. St Kilda leading Geelong by 29 points, as you heard in the highlights there. The Saints 10-5-65 to Geelong 5-6-36. Jack Higgins has 3 goals for the Saints. Lance Collard and Mason Wood have 2. St Kilda led by 27 points at quarter time, kicking 6 goals to 1 in the opening term. In that term, it was 4 goals to 3 the way of the Saints. Matt Clinton and Lauren Borden calling the action. Alexei Pesher on the boundary. Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke are your experts. The other news coming through in the last sort of 24 hours has been Rory Lobb has been cleared for his, or escape sanction for his accidental strike on Collingwood ruckman Mason Cox in the dying stages of Friday night's clash. However, the bad news for Reef McGuinness is that the fears around a knee injury has been confirmed, and unfortunately it looks like his season is done. So disappointing news there from a Collingwood side of things, and for Rory Lobby, maybe gets a little bit of luck go his way in the match in which the Magpies prevailed by a goal over the Western Bulldogs. Earlier today it was Adelaide by 61 points over the Bombers, 25-11, 161 to the Bombers, 15-10-100. It was a free-scoring final quarter in which Josh Rochelle and Ben Keys both kicked 4 goals. Darcy Fogarty with 3 and Riley Thilthorpe with 3, while Zach Merritt booted 4 And on debut, Edwards booted 3 as well. Jordan Dawson got the 3 votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year, while Port Adelaide defeated Richmond by 72 points. Travis Boak becoming the game's record holder for Port Adelaide, and they really were able to do a number on the Tigers. Connor Rosie got the 3 votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. Port Adelaide 21-14, 140 to the Tigers 9-14, 68. Connor Rosie with 39 disposals and 2 goals. So last week, after copying the heaviest defeat in Ken Hinkley's 13-year coaching tenure and 91-point drumming from the Magpies, they bounced back in emphatic fashion against the Tigers. And Boomer and Berkey, it does show you that it's going to be an interesting season in the opening couple of rounds to try and work out, not to overreact and try and judge teams on where they're going to sit throughout the season.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer. You can't really look at the ladder. You can look at some form, I guess, but in the first 4 weeks, I reckon it starts taking shape around 5, 6. A team can play out of the... you look at Richmond in round 1 beating Carlton. Carlton were poor, Richmond were up and about and quite good. They get absolutely pants today. So I think we need to give every team about a month, play 4 games. I still don't like the whole opening round thing where only a couple of teams played. I know a couple of more should have played, but I think it should just be straight from the start and we get an idea quicker from the start of the season. But I still think we're a couple of weeks away of really identifying who are the really good teams and who are the teams that need to go back and go to the draft or recruit some other players from other clubs.
In the NRL tonight, the Gold Coast Titans lead the Newcastle Knights 24 points to 0. Wins for West Tigers over the Dolphins and Cronulla Sharks over South Sydney Rabbitohs earlier today. Of course, coverage available on the ABC Listen app. Just click on the ABC Sport button. Also have coverage of the NBL final tomorrow between Melbourne United and the Illawarra Hawks. So coverage available tomorrow afternoon. I think it's a 2:30 tip-off. Also bringing coverage of the Sheffield Shield final between South Australia and Queensland as SA look to try and create some cricket history. Not at the Adelaide Oval, at Karen Rolton Oval, so we'll have that covered, as we will the Socceroos taking on China on Tuesday night. Coverage with Ned Hall there as well. So it's all on the ABC Listen app. Alexia Pesce before the two sides get underway in the second half. Coachy Lex. Might be making her way back down to the boundary. St Kilda by 29 points. 10-5-65 to Geelong 5-6-36. Can the Saints continue with their surge in the second half? Will the Cats find a way to respond? Here's Lauren Borden.
De Koning and Marshall in the ruck, both tussle and get it down towards Nevitt. He's taken by 2 Sainers in McRae and Windhager, and he's locked up for a secondary ball up. Still in the centre circles of Dockland Stadium. De Koning slams it down towards Myers. He'll bounce the footy inside 50 for Geelong. Webster has a fresh air. He can't get a kick away. Wilkie's in there to support him and can put the kick inside the centre of the ground towards Marshall. Will take a mark and will send the kick long to left half forward. One bounce to Owens. Takes it. Gets away from O'Sullivan. Can take a bounce and run all the way inside 50. Little dinky kick. Went for Wood, who'd overran the footy. Wasn't a good kick towards him, and Holmes can hand pass to Nevitt to Lawson Humphries. Geelong desperately trying to get it out of defensive 50. Nevitt goes back for it. In comes Dangerfield. His hand pass to Bowes dropped. Allows it in for the Saints, and a hand pass will come to Sinclair, who can line up now. Kick towards goals. Opening the end of the third quarter, and he's got it. The Saints pounced on a turnover and a fumbly Geelong defensive unit, uncharacteristic of them. And it's a goal now to put the Saints back out to a 35-point lead. Not even a minute played in this opening term. Jack Sinclair's second for the day. And it's St Kilda 11-5-71 leading Geelong 5-6-36.
Well, you caught it, Loz. A fumbly Geelong. There was 4 or 5 handballs that just dropped, and that was, I think it was Bowes in the end, just dropped the handball from Paddy Dangerfield. A very un-Geelong-like first minute.
Saints are playing with plenty of passion and spirit. Jack Sinclair in celebration after kicking that goal. We'll head down to Alexia Pesce here on the boundary. The Saints might have activated their sub as well. Out of the middle of the ground. Sam De Koning gets the clearance. He's doing it all himself, the big cat. He kicks inside 50. Ollie Henry can't take the mark. Wilkie was tackled. Was he holding the ball? It spills out. Zach Jones gets a hand pass away. Looking for McRae. Spinning into traffic was Tyson Stengel. Can't get a clean disposal away. Volleyed off the ground by Darcy Wilson up to the wing. Mitch Owens overran the footy. Sam De Koning's hand pass to the Cats, to Nevitt. Hand pass to Mullen, and now to Zach Guthrie. Inside 50. Where's the tall Timber? Wilkie in front. Takes the mark, although a hold. A shepherding in the marking contest in the end, and I think it's Mark O'Connor who tried to get a run at it, who was blocked. In fact, it might be Ollie Henry who's got the footy in his hand, so a couple of Cats making their claim for a free kick.
Yeah, it was definitely there. They just tried to protect Wilkie from taking an easy mark and didn't really need to do it because he probably wasn't going to get there anyway.
Just three disposals for Ollie Henry as he comes out and curls it around his body, missing to the left-hand side and a minor score. St Kilda lead by 34 points, 3 minutes gone third term. Alexia Pescier on the boundary.
The Saints have made their sub, so Liam Stocker comes off with concussion. Hugo Garcia comes on, but Hunter Clark is still on the bike in front of me, so you hate for something to go wrong there.
So both subs are being activated tonight. So Closey on for Tom Stewart, and now Hugo Garcia into the action, as Lex just mentioned, as the St Kilda, the team works their way with some quick hand passes all the way to centre half forward. There was a big bump on Burns there. The kick will come out to right half forward. Windhager just keeps it in, and now he does have to go. He finally gets the footy. He spears the pass, and it's Keeler who will mark on debut. It was him or Mason Wood, and Keeler stepped in front first and will clunk the mark and have a set shot at goal from about 43 metres out, 45-degree angle.
That's a bit weird from Windhager. I thought he could have maybe used his legs a little bit more. I think he thought the ball might have been had to come back.
Yeah.
He got the footy and he was in 30 metres of space. He had plenty of time. But he was in no rush at all.
It's Isaac Keeler's moment now. His jump up from the Zaya Wanganeen-Miller earlier on this week. He has a shot at goals from North Adelaide to St Kilda. His teammates mob him as he scores his first goal in the big time. A nice moment for the Saints fans. And what looks even nicer is the scoreboard as St Kilda took its way out to an equal game-high lead of 40 points. 12-5-77, Geelong a 5-7-37. A couple of goals from the Saints to start this third term. On ABC Sport, you're with your experts Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey.
Well, that was a kick out from Wanganeen-Miller. He found Zach Jones sort of 70 metres out on the boundary line. There's no way in a million years he should have been able to mark that ball. Blitzarves is starting on him on the wing, and then he's going into the middle and sort of playing as an extra mobile mid-player. But Zach Jones at the moment is close to best player on the ground. They're playing him no respect whatsoever, and he's capitalising.
Yeah, Mark Blitzarves has gone to him on the wing, back in the middle of the ground. Sam De Koning wins down the tap for the Cats, but it's Jack McRae who wins it for the Saints. Hand pass looking for Sinclair. Nevitt picks it up. Hand pass to De Koning. To Holmes through traffic. Dangerfield on the runway from 55. It's out of the right and misses everything. As you can hear the Bronx cheers there. Out of bounds on the full. No change to the score. St Kilda by 40 points.
He had a little bit more time there, Dangerfield too. He looked really rushed. That's perceived pressure. That's fantastic by the Saints.
Just a short chip kick from Caminiti to Wilkie to Hill, who moves the footy on quickly outside of defensive 50. He moves it to Wilkie, who's made his way out to left half back, and it's just this chip kick game that they're using to Wood, who moves it further down the wing to Hill, who's kept running on, and he's able to spot up Marshall, who goes with a long hand pass to Hall, who takes it. He's taken in a tackle but can hand pass it away and get it to Mason Wood. Spiralling kip higher than it does go long, lands in front of Wilson's lap. He can't control it. Holmes comes in, gets a hand pass away. The umpire has blown his whistle, and for a tug it will be a St Kilda free kick.
Might have been a high fend potentially.
High fend against Holmes.
I know Geelong kicked 11 goals in the last quarter last week, but I'm saying if he kicks this goal, Perky, we are done. I'm gone early.
He's gone early.
I've gone very early. If he kicks this goal, it's just the way the game's been played. I haven't seen Geelong be dismantled like this. The ball's coming in there to defensive 50. They don't look like they've got any structure at all, which I know they have because I've seen it before.
Darcy Wilson, one of the players of the future for the Saints, from 46 metres out. Kick goes towards the goals, will just fall short. Keeler's around there trying to pick up the footy. Wood's in there as well for the Saints. Can't gather it in the end. It's Guthrie who pulls it in for Geelong, and he gets wrapped up and stops the ball from going anywhere. But there will be a ball up 10 metres outside from goal. St Kilda by 40.
Keeler and Blitzarves tap down to the front. Hunter Clark trying to get a disposal away. He's locked up by Bowes. Support from Zach Guthrie, and we're still only about 5 metres out from the St Kilda goal. Higgins on the move, thrown up. Keeler and Sam De Koning. Spills down the way of Nevitt. Hand pass under pressure. Hunter Clark laid the tackle, and umpire circles once more.
They're set up very, very well behind the ball, Berkey. I feel like if this is a clearance by the Cats, it's going to come straight back in.
Keeler taps it down for the Saints, looking for Higgins. In front is Jack Henry, and have a third stoppage in a matter of metres, just 10 metres out from Saints' goal.
Right in close it is, and Nevitt can take it for the Saints. Hand pass to Atkins, just shoves it on his boot. It's not a good-looking kick. It comes off the side of the boot. And Ryan Burns comes in and will take the mark inside 50 for St Kilda. They have locked the footy inside their forward 50.
It's exactly what the Saints wanted, just enormous pressure around the contest, get a Geelong player to throw it on their boot, and then it's more than a 50-50 chance it's going to come back because the Saints outnumbered the Cats outside 50.
Ryan Burns trying to take his opportunities in the senior side this year. At a 45-degree angle, 40 metres out for him. Brian Myers on the mark. As Burns trots in, releases the kick. It's not good looking off the boot. It goes quite high and it'll be punched through for a rush behind. So in the end, Geelong just concede the minor score, but St Kilda's lead goes out to a game-high 41 points. We've played 8 minutes in the third quarter, Saturday night footy on ABC.
It just leaves the door ajar too, doesn't it? They just haven't put them away right now.
It's still 30 disposals the way of the Saints to 20 for Geelong in this third quarter. As Jack Henry looks for an avenue out of defence. Up towards O'Sullivan, flies in the pack, can't take the mark, and off the hands of Caminiti. It goes across the boundary line. In fact, it was off his boot.
Yep.
Out on the full, and Ollie Dempsey is ready to take the free kick. He was helping the boundary umpire make sure the free kick was going Geelong's way. Where can they find their spark? Trailing by 41 points. He comes inboard to Atkins, not 15. Called to play on, has to get around McRae. Great chase in the end. Forced the hand pass out towards Holmes, who fumbles it over the boundary line. Under the pressure of Hugo Garcia, subbed in the action for Stocker. If you just flicked on the radio, Tom Stewart was subbed out in the second quarter with a leg injury. Ted Closey coming into the game, and Bailey Smith was a late out for the Cats, so Closey came in for him.
In goes the ball, and Marshall tries to gather it with one hand. It'll be a tugging free in the ruck contest. And Holmes passes it back to Blitzarves and then gets it back, straight back from his ruckman, and Holmes just bangs it forward to a contest right at left half forward. Good mark taken by Neil. He's taken a couple of those tonight and holds on to it for Geelong. Ball goes inside 50 into the hole, and in comes Mason Wood. He's come all the way down to the back line.
Holding the man,
punches
Jeremy
it out.
So this is what the Cats do. They play Jeremy Cameron up on the wing and they kick the ball fat side because usually he's got a smaller opponent. I've seen him do this plenty of times, Burke. It's a really, really good set play.
Was the smallest of tug jumpers there from Hill against Cameron.
Jeremy Cameron squeezes the footy, kicks it towards goal, snaps and puts it through. St Kilda fans not happy with the free kick, as you can hear, but Jeremy Cameron gets himself into the game via a free kick. It's his first goal for tonight.
Yeah, there wasn't a great deal in that, but you did see that the jumper stretched ever so slightly.
Yeah, he didn't need to do it, Brad Hill, because he had Mason Wood coming over as the third man up, and he was never going to mark the ball, Jeremy Cameron. So, yeah, he probably didn't need to do that, Hill.
As soon as you see the jumper stretch, it's an easy one for the umpires. I don't mind Mason Wood to come all the way down from the forward line to help with that contest.
It's a great set play, and now I've got a little bit more time I can explain it. So Jeremy Cameron will play on the wing when he's not really getting the football. His direct opponent is Bradley Hill. When they get the ball on one side of the ground, they kick it fat side, and he's rolling into goal, usually on a smaller opponent.
First quarter, he was the target inside 50 once.
Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey with you. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. St Kilda win it back through Ron Marshall. Good tackle was being laid. McRae, quick hand pass away. Steal through the middle of the ground. Coming out, Keeler on the lead. Can't hang on with Jack Henry in tow. Zach Guthrie stuck over the top of the footy. Trying to rip it away in the end. The Saints have an opportunity through Keeler once more. But Bose lays the tackle.
It's a good lead by Keeler. He's had his time again. I think he would like to have clunked that one.
To Koenig and Keeler. Spills down the way up to Koenig. Hand pass straight up in the air. Keeler palms it down. Winhager from a standing start. He's got it. Close to the left goal post. Steers it through. And don't the Saints enjoy that. He's second of the night. And really taking the most of every opportunity there. After Jeremy Cameron at one end, the Saints answer immediately back to restore a 41-point advantage. 13-6-84 to Geelong 6-7-43. Ahead of Boomer and Berkey. Alexia Pesce on the boundary.
Hunter Clark's come off again. He's in severe discomfort. He can barely move. I guess they'll just keep him rotating for numbers, but he can barely get into a gallop.
It's a big win for the Saints. Windhager has had 16 disposals and kicked his second goal, and he's playing on Max Holmes and doing a fantastic job. It's a huge, huge win.
I watched the two of them at that stoppage. So Windhager went to Holmes. Holmes is in his back line, but he's trying to get away from his player. And that's the mental game has been won by Windhager there. If you've got your player trying to get away from you in your forward line.
It's Holmes with the clearance, though, for Geelong. Straight inside 50. Ollie Henry with the footy. Hand passes it across to Closey. He'll just have a shot at the goals and dribbles it through. The direct reply comes at the Lockett end, and Geelong just keep themselves in the hunt. The margin back to 35 points. St Kilda ahead by as he kicks his first goal in his AFL career. And he gets it in a moment just to keep Geelong in the hunt. 7-7-49, St Kilda 13-6-84, 13 minutes played in the third quarter.
It just won't go away, Berkey.
No.
Saints kick one, the Cats kick one. Goal for goal at the minute. It's been a great start to this third quarter, and I still feel the Saints are probably 2 goals away of putting this game to bed, but they can't let easy goals like that just fall through their fingers.
Modern defending. So the ball gets kicked into the Saints' back line, and Wilkie tries to mark the ball in a contested situation with half a dozen players around him. If you punch that one 30 metres back towards your midfielders, there's no way it gets crumbed and it's a goal. But we know these days defenders would rather take a mark than spoil the ball.
Keeler into the ruck for the Saints, up against Blitzavs. No clear disposal, and the umpire circles and we'll ball it up. Tom Atkins on the very bottom of the pack. Umpire throws it in the air. Blitzhouse protects the space, tries to palm it down, looking for Clark. He's tangling with Brad Hill. Can't break away as Jack McRae lays the tackle, and the umpire will ball it up once more. Just a few metres to the left of the centre circles. Jack McRae with 23 disposals. There's a chance for Brian Myers. Fires a hand pass forward. Here's a chance for the Cats. Nevitt Stengels having got it from Mullins and puts through another one for the Cats. Mitch Nevitt with a good finish on the runway from slightly left of centre, 35 metres out. And Geelong put 2 quick goals in succession to close the gap back inside. 5 goals. St Kilda by 29 points, 13-6-84 to Geelong 8-7-55. 15 minutes gone, third term on ABC Sport. You're with Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey.
Boomer, the Cats bring an extra one up to those stoppages, and the Saints had an extra one behind the ball. But when they run and chain the ball out of the stoppage like they did, that extra one up around the ball becomes really, really useful. And at the end of the day, that was the difference between getting a player who's just going to throw it on their boot or get a free shot at goal.
Dangerfield back in this centre bounce too, which is good for the Cats.
And Geelong are coming, so they put Danger, their captain, in there. Blitzarves gets the tap away. It's taken by Keeler, though. He gets hands to it, but Atkins steals it back. Hand pass to Clark, shoves it on his boot. Again, it's Geelong. Back inside 50 here. Neil can running onto it. In the end, he leaves it for his teammate in Dempsey. Gets tackled to the ground by Jones, holding the footy. Free kicks St Kilda.
Yeah, again, Jones, ball not in hand, still doing some fantastic stuff for the Saints. You're right, Berkey. Oh.
His kick, though, he turns it over straight to Dempsey, who hand passes it to Ollie Henry, kicks inside 50. And luckily, Wilkie is there to stop that from going any further. So Zach Jones, a real impressive game, but that kick just wasn't it. Luckily, St Kilda don't pay on the scoreboard with Wilkie's intercept mark. They're leading by 29.
Took his kicking efficiency from 90% down to 82%, so we can't be too harsh on him.
Wilkie into the back pocket for Caminiti. He looks up to the wing. Big fly from behind by Keeler. Ball spills to the front. Blitzavs. Hand pass away to O'Sullivan. From right half forward. Long ball. Dempsey and Neal going back. Can't hang on to the mark. Wilkie rushes it through for a minor score. It's a 28-point lead St Kilda's way. Starting to look threatening.
Yeah, should have hung on to that one. Would have been a shot for goal from the top of the goal square and really put the Saints under pressure.
Yeah, Geelong have had the ball in their forward half now for the last probably 4 or 5 minutes, haven't they? They've got the game on their terms. They just need to kick a goal.
Anthony Miller takes his time moving the footy to Caminiti, just in the right back pocket. And he's stuck as well. So a little slower getting this out of their defensive 50 than they have been throughout the night. Decides to go long towards Owens, who works off Jack Henry illegally out of the contest. And it'll be a free kick to the Geelong defender.
He's done that 3 or 4 times tonight. Hasn't been called for a free kick every time, but it's a habit that he's got into of pushing the player in the back with the 2 hands.
Henry backwards to Humphries. Kicks it inboard to Myers, who just waltzes his way through the middle of Docklands before moving it out wide towards Blitzarves. Or just mark just backwards of centre wing for the Cats. They've got a 28-point deficit to make. Up 17 minutes gone in the third quarter.
Short to Myers, not 15. Has to swing on his right-hand side and finds Closey. The sub into the action. The late in for Bailey Smith. High ball inside 50. Shannon Neal comes charging out. Can't take the mark. Off the hands of Mason Wood. It goes out of play in the right forward pocket and a throw in for the Cats. St Kilda by 28 points. 13-6-84 to Geelong 8-8-56. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey, your experts on ABC Sport, with Alexia Peshier on the boundary. St Kilda got out by 41 points during this third quarter. As it's thrown back in, Neal sharks it down for the Cats. Down low, Dangerfield. Hand pass picked off by McRae. Hand pass the way of Keeler. Close against the boundary, and eventually Tom Atkins takes it across, and the umpire says throw it in. 50 metres out from the Cats' goal.
Saints can't get Rowan Marshall on the ground. Keeler's doing the ruck, and the Cats are dominating the clearances. He's standing there on the sideline, but the ball just won't come over the side.
Blitzarves easily works Keeler out of that ruck contest, grabs the footy, hand passes it away. It'll be a free kick. Going the way of Keeler, though.
Burke, if you're Chris Scott right now and coaching the Geelong Football Club, do you have Patrick Dangerfield around the action on the ball, or do you keep him forward to try to pinch a goal?
You've got to the ball's got to get down there. So if he's the best player to get the ball down there, then that's where he has to be.
Saints with the ball out of side of the ground on the wing. Steele gathers it cleanly and then just chip it out wide towards Wood. Hand pass comes over the top towards McRae. He chips it forward, and it'll be a mark taken by Hall. They've got it just forward of centre wing, the Saints. Looking to press forward, but again just forced to slow things down a little as Hall loads up on the kick. Goes 60 metres inside 50, goes over the top of Owens as well. Humphries is there to collect for Geelong. Weaves his way outside of defensive 50. Long kick down the wing. It'll be a turnover as Mason Wood sits under the footy and marks for the Saints.
He has Burns on his own in the middle of the ground. He comes in by foot. Wants to switch it laterally. Wanganeen Miller on the target. Takes the mark on the broadcast side on the AFL logo. He pulls his kick beautifully to Jack Higgins, who leads up in front of Jeremy Cameron. Still 2 kicks out from goal, though. Waits for the leads to come. Decides to put it into the pocket, into the direction of Mitch Owens. It clears him, and O'Sullivan goes out of play in the right forward pocket for the Saints. St Kilda by 28 points. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Saints having put on 10 goals to 5 in the first half. It's been an even contest from that point onwards. Over the shoulder, Geelong free kick going the way of Mark Blitzarves. He'll take the free kick in the left back pocket.
Dabs the kick across to Lawson Humphries. He's been strong along the back line since debuting for the Cats. Chips it out to Jack Henry. Just short to Myers, told to play on. He doesn't know where to go. Right half back for the Cats, so puts it on the boot and goes long in the Dempsey direction, close to the boundary line. He's in a battle against O'Connell for the footy, and it's the Saints that win out via Hall. Hand pass to Wilkie, hand pass to Sinclair, spins around and puts the kick back towards left half forward for the Saints. The ball comes back out to Hall, and he chips it forward, and he can find McRae. Hill's running past him. Hill will put the kick inside the forward pocket. It wasn't quite a good-looking kick for Higgins. Cameron's running with him down there in defence for Geelong, and they bring it out of the boundary line for a throw-in about 5 metres around from the Saints' attacking goal. They're ahead by 28 points. 21 minutes played in the third quarter.
I'm all for putting speed on the ball, but Bradley Hill did need to get a handball receive running 55 metres out when the St Kilda player could have turned and hit a nice, easy target inside 50 himself.
Thrown back in. Blitzouts won the tap down with Owen. It spills out Geelong's way. And right half back, Jeremy Cameron gets involved. Hand pass to Myers. Arches the back to get away from McRae. Hand pass over the top to Closey around the outer wing. Looks up to Stengel. He leads up and marks it right half forward. Has options aplenty. Finding the right one. He does successfully and centres it to Neal. It was on the half volley, says the umpire. Play on's the call. Sinclair tries to knock it out to Webster. Zach Jones through traffic. Hand pass out. Hall was dragged down. Still a chance of the Saints. Webster locked up by Nevitt. Good tackle. Umpire will ball it up. Mitch Nevitt with 14 disposals. Second leading disposal getter for the Cats behind Lawson Humphries. He's had 8 of those contested.
Ball tossed up inside. Forward 50 for Geelong. It's Mason Wood with a clearing kick out of defence for the Saints. He just puts it into space. Owens chasing after it, got Blitzarves right behind him on his tail, and he takes Owens over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Mason Wood just capitalising on that running ability. He's got licence to get down and help out his defence anytime he wants.
And he won plenty of distance as well for the Saints, who've conceded the last 2 goals to the Cats. It's 28 points the margin, St Kilda's way, nearing three-quarter time. Myers wins the footy, hand pass to Dempsey, hand pass to Holmes, who just stabs a kick to right half forward to Cameron for Geelong, then goes back and gets it, does Holmes. Kick right to the top of the goal square. It's a good kick, and it'll be marked by Stengel. He spotted his small forward. Stengel going back, holds onto the mark. And about 12 metres out from goals, he'll just snap it through. No problems with that one. That's 3 in a row for the Cats, and they're making their charge. It's coming at the end of the third quarter, but they have got the deficit back to 22 points, St Kilda's lead. Stengel with his second for the night. And it's Geelong 9-8-62, trailing St Kilda 13-6-84. 23 minutes played in the third quarter. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Well, it killed the Saints not having Rowan Marshall on that field. The Cats have dominated the clearances the last 5 minutes. The Saints have had young Garcia in there and Keeler in there. They just didn't have the big bodies. So Marshall's gone in there now. Windhager's come off the bench as well. They've got Steele and McRae in there now. So they've got the experienced big bodies back in there, because the Cats started to dominate that clearance area.
Berkey, you mentioned Marshall stuck on the bench. That was about 4 or 5 minutes ago. He's just come on now after that goal. So, yeah, huge to get Marshall back on the ground, but they needed him 3 or 4 minutes ago.
Geelong with 4 goals to 3 in this third quarter as Marshall wins down the tap on cue to Jack McRae. Off balance as he kicks up inside 50. Owens got a hand to it. It gets to the back. Hunter Clark runs onto it. Hand pass chopped off. Sullivan just slaps it away for Geelong. Never gathers across half back. Hand pass away to Sam DeConing. Looks out to the wing. Kicks looking for Myers. It clears he and Sinclair. Close towards the boundary line. Holmes slaps it back in. Looking for Myers. Kept it alive. Can he break away from Sinclair? He did, but the hand pass was chopped off by Windhager. Back to Sinclair, across half-back. O'Connell looks across half-back and finds Webster. Good composure from the Saints as he comes inboard and Rowan Marshall marks.
Steadying kick to the ruck. And he's not sure where to go, and he'll go backwards to Wilkie. He's got to track back to take the mark. 40 metres out from defensive goal. Flares it across to right half-back to Caminiti.
The Saints just aren't spreading as hard as they did in that first half. They're a bit stationary now and forcing Caminiti to just kick it long down the line.
That's exactly what he does. His kick will go right in front of the interchange benches. Cameron comes in. Holds onto the mark for Geelong, and he'll kick them back to left half forward to Myers, who takes the mark in front of Wanganeen Millera. Spins around, can go quickly here, and curves the ball right to the top of the 50. Was looking for Closey. McRae had his measure in the end. Closey meets O'Connell, and they both clash. Wilkie goes in to grab the footy, exit defensive 50. Wanganeen Millera has to do some work to grab the footy. Hand pass it backwards towards Steele, who then kicks it out to Higgins, keeps the ball in by getting it to Hunter Clark, right along the boundary line to the left of the Saints bench. It's in dispute. O'Connor goes in as well. Hunter Clark dives on top, and he locks up the footy for a ball up just inside from the boundary line. It'll be a toss-up. St Kilda ahead by 22 points. Latter stages of this third quarter, Geelong has scored the last 3 goals.
Marshall takes it out of the ruck against DeConing, kicks it up the wing. Clark was caught flat-footed. Zach Guthrie gathers for Geelong. Hand pass to O'Connor. Into the middle of the ground. Lawson Humphrey slipped over. Opens up the possibility for Wood. Hand pass out in front of Collard. Offering chases Nevitt. Collard accelerates the left half forward. Pulls his kick. Great vision. Finds Mitch Owen. Just chipped it into the space and asked him to lead up.
That was an outstanding kick by Collard. I'm going to kick the ball there forward. You're going to get there. That is perfect play. And what it did to Owens, it drew him to the ball. So the Geelong defender, who was back shoulder again, had no option. He was on the back foot. So fantastic kick. Well called.
Mitch Owen, one of the Saints who have signed till 2029. He is the future. Having kicked a goal already tonight, can he make it 2 to steady for the Saints? He starts outside 50. Owen comes in, leans back on it. It's out to the right. In the end, Geelong have a 3-on-1, and Jack Higgins is the one. So Sam DeConing was able to take a comfortable mark up against the left behind post.
DeConing bangs the kick on his boot towards a pack. Marshall had the front spot, brought the ball down. Wilkie's at the back. can take it and just kick it out to Sinclair, who has to go and reach for it, can't take the mark. Holmes is in there, desperately trying to get it for Geelong, but Woods, part of the action for St Kilda. Hand pass to Sinclair, goes inside 50. Owens leading, and Owens marks. De Koning was chasing after him and trying to get a fingertip to it, but Owens had the lead, and he will mark and take a kick, 45-degree angle, 25 metres out from goal.
Sometimes we overcomplicate this game, Berkey. Get the ball into your good kickers' hands. Let them kick the ball inside 50. 9 times out of 10, they'll hit a forward. Go back, set shot, do what you get paid for and kick the goal.
And forwards leading. It's not that common these days.
Mitch Owens needs to make this one for St Kilda. And that's what he does. He celebrates his second. And it just pushes St Kilda back out to a 28-point lead. It stops a run of 3 consecutive goals from Geelong. And the Saints hold on to that 28-point lead, desperately trying to hold on to it as they near the three-quarter time break. St Kilda 14-6-90, Geelong 9-8-62. About 28 minutes played in this third quarter. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
I'm going to credit Mason Wood again. The last 2 entries that Mitch Owens has marked, it's Mason Wood who's actually won the ball in that centre square both times and got the ball going back the other way. So his work up and down the ground is pivotal.
He's been fantastic. 19 possessions, I think it is now, for Mason Wood, and 2 goals.
Yep, led the way in this third quarter with 10 disposals. Alexia Pescier on the boundary.
Hunter Clark's come off again. You guys can probably see it. He's really struggling out there, so we'll see what they do with him.
Thanks, Lex. Marshall wins down the tap. Chat McRae inside 50. Mitch Owens is there again. Can't hang on to the mark this time. Collard cleverly over his shoulder, but missed Owens. A chance for Jack Henry. Hand passes away to Atkins for Geelong. Off hands to Holmes. He has to bang it on the boot up towards the wing. Close, he kept his feet. When slipping over was O'Connell. Hand pass away to Dangerfield. Off balance, he just hurries it up towards close at half forward. Hand pass to O'Connor. It opens up in front of him. He chips it into the pocket. Neal had it spoiled away. Good defending by Caminiti. It bounces back to Cal Wilkie. He's locked up by Ollie Henry. And the umpire will ball it up in the right forward pocket for Geelong. Should they have the shot on goal?
You have your shot. You're running 35 metres with speed. You have a shot every day of the week.
Well done by Caminiti to stay with his player, get the spoiling.
Ball cleared from the Lockett end of the ground outside of defensive 50. It goes towards Higgins. Hand pass to McRae. He's close along the boundary line. He's happy to roll over and see it out for a throw in. 55 metres out from Geelong's goal. It'll be a free kick for McRae.
Yeah, got him high. Was bending over to pick up the football. But Marshall's been in there and the Saints have won the last 4 clearances.
McRae points long, and that's what he does. Up goes Jack Henry, gets a fingertip to it to bring it down. The tackle will go on Closey, and it'll be a free kick high on Closey. So the sub for Geelong, laid in after Bailey Smith was out with a calf injury, and then subbed on for Tom Stewart. He gets a kick to inside 50 towards his captain in Dangerfield. Sticks out one hand, can't take the mark. Wanganeen Miller has the footy. He's locked up and will be a ball up. 35 metres out from goal for Geelong.
Less than a minute to go. Saints cannot concede one here this late.
Marshall out of the right, kicks straight towards the boundary line. This will be insufficient intent. And Geelong get one last roll of the dice ahead of three-quarter time. 14-6-90 the Saints, Geelong 9-8-62. The margin is 28 points. The kick from De Koning, inside 50, Closey takes the mark. The unlikely contested mark as he just held his position in front. Mason Wood and Wanganeen Miller bounced into each other and had to look as Closey took the mark in front of them.
I was just about to say Saints had 16 players inside their defensive 50, 17 players in front of where the ball was, and Closey, probably one of the smallest players inside 50, takes the contested mark. Ross Lyon would absolutely be tearing his hair out at that one.
He was the late in for Bailey Smith, and now he'll shoot after the three-quarter time siren. Closey's for his second. He misses to the left-hand side.
Big miss.
Opportunity there to try and close the gap after the three-quarter time siren, and the Saints hang on to a 27-point advantage, Boomer. 14-6-90 to Geelong 9-9-63. So 4 goals apiece in that third quarter, but the Saints hold a 27-point advantage. Jack Higgins with 3 goals, Marcus Winhager, Collard, Wood and Sinclair with 2 goals all for the Saints. Mitch Owens with 2 as well, while on debut Isaac Keeler has a goal as well. While for Geelong, 2 goals to Tyson Stengel, individuals to Cameron Holmes, Nevitt, Neal, Closey, Stewart and Close and Blitzavs. 8 individual goal kickers for the Cats. St Kilda leading by 27 points at three-quarter time. The thoughts of Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke about to come on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
The Socceroos can take a big step to next year's FIFA World Cup on Tuesday night.
And it's a well-crafted goal by the Socceroos.
After a big win over Indonesia, they travel to China, hoping for another 5-star performance. Hear the match live on ABC Sport Digital Radio and on the ABC Listen app. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
The hand pass will come to Sinclair, who can line up now, kick towards goals, opening the end of the third quarter, and he's got it. The Saints pounced on a turnover and a fumbly Geelong defensive unit, uncharacteristic of them. Windhager just keeps it in, and now he does have to go. He finally gets the footy, he spears the pass, and it's Keeler who will mark on debut. It's Isaac Keeler's moment now. Jump up, Zaya Wangadeen-Miller earlier on this week. He has a shot at goals from North Adelaide to St Kilda. His teammates mob him as he scores his first goal in the big time.
Keeler palms it down. Windhager from a standing start. He's got it. Close to the left goal post. Steers it through. And don't the Saints enjoy that? He's second of the night.
Ollie Henry with the footy. Hand passes it across to Closey. He'll just have a shot at the goals and dribbles it through. The direct reply comes at the Lockett end, and Geelong just keep themselves in the hunt.
Brian Myers fires a hand pass forward. Here's a chance for the Cats. Nevitt Stengels having got it from Mullins and puts through another one for the Cats.
Goes back and gets it, does Holmes. Kick right to the top of the goal square. It's a good kick and it'll be marked by Stengel. About 12 metres out from goals. He'll just snap it through. No problems with that one. That's 3 in a row for the Cats and they're making their charge. Woods, part of the action for St Kilda. Hand pass to Sinclair, goes inside 50. Owens leading and Owens marks. Needs to make this one for St Kilda. And that's what he does. He celebrates his second.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
St Kilda hold a 27-point advantage at three-quarter time. 14-6-90 to Geelong 9-9-63. The Saints got out by as much as 41 points. 3 goals on the trot for Geelong. Got back within 22 points, but it's a 27-point lead St Kilda's way at the final change. Tom Stewart was subbed out of the match in the second quarter. Bailey Smith failed to take his spot in the lineup. Ted Closey came in for him. And Hugo Garcia has been subbed into the action for Liam Stocker. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Alexia Pesce on the boundary. Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey with their thoughts to three-quarter time.
All set up for a ripping last quarter. Every single Saints person in this stadium is saying, can they hold on? No one's got a lot of confidence, but the way that they're playing, there's a method that will win this game. The question is, can they sustain that method? Do they go into their shell? Because when you go into your shell, you don't take those short passes, you don't run for those short passes, you play a bit safe, you kick the ball long down the line, and whenever they've done that, I reckon 9 out of 10 times the Cats have actually got the ball back. Now for the Cats, they need to just take this game on. When they run in numbers and overlap and get the ball out the back, that's when they look really, really dangerous. So for me, the Cats need to just throw caution to the wind and take off. If it doesn't come off, well, you know what, they won't win, but if it does come off, that's what puts the Saints defenders under pressure. Rowan Marshall's been outstanding. He was off the ground, as we said, 6-7 minutes, gave the Cats real impetus in those stoppages. He's had 20 possessions and 7 clearances. Jack McRae, there was a commentator during the week who said, don't put him in the middle, don't let him get a lot of the footy, which is one of the silliest things I've ever heard. He's had 29 possessions, 7 clearances, 8 tackles, 413 metres gained. But his clean pick up around the contest. What that's enabled the Saints players to do is then get on the end of his cleanness. He doesn't fumble. Ball goes down below his knees, he picks it up, handballs off, and away the Saints go. That is invaluable as a midfielder. So for me, it's there. The Saints can actually win this game if they're bold enough to keep doing the game plan. and not think, oh, if I do a short pass and it doesn't come off, well, that's going to hurt us. They've got to keep doing that game plan. How well has it been drilled at, and how much do they believe in it, and how much do they believe in themselves to continue in this last quarter?
Oh, I thought Mason Wood had a fantastic third quarter. Really kept the Saints in the game. Zach Jones doing the stuff without the ball in his hand, just all the tough stuff. A couple of questions, Berkey. For Geelong to win this game, Patrick Dangerfield's been forward most of the game, spent a little bit of time in the midfield that quarter. You've probably already answered that. You're saying Geelong need the ball in the forward 50. He plays around the ball. What would you do, Jeremy Cameron, right now? For me, I would have to play him forward. I think he needs to kick multiple goals in this last quarter for Geelong to win the game. He's got to hit the scoreboard 2 or 3 times if they're going to win, because I can't see anybody else kicking multiples and keeping them in the game.
No, he's lined up again on the wing here, so whether they're going to say, mate, wing forward, don't worry about Zach Jones getting forward. He's not a big goal kicker, so any chance you get, shoot into a hole.
Final term about to get underway. St Kilda leading by 27 points. Looking for their first win of the 2025 season. Or can the Cats come charging back? Marshall wins down the tap against De Koning. Atkins sockers it off the ground and pinballs around. Steele dives on the footy like a loose grenade. Hand pass to Sinclair around the body. He finds Rowan Marshall. Hand pass to Zach Jones, who's run all day. He kicks up towards Mitch Owens, who marks it left half forward.
That's been the kick all night, hasn't it? The one where they dropped their eyes.
Jones wanted it out wide. He hand passes to Wanganeen Miller. Normally a beautiful kick. He puts it towards Keeler. Can't hang on to it. O'Sullivan gathers. Keeler pinches it back from him. Tries to hand pass to Higgins in between. Zach Guthrie sees it out of play. And a boundary throw in the right forward pocket. Alexia Pesher is on the boundary.
Guys, on our way down here before, I saw Bailey Smith in the stands interacting with some fans. Thought that was quite interesting.
He's down here just with the calf injury, though, that's kept him out of tonight's game. Ted Closey coming in for him as Geelong work it around very close to the boundary line. Hand pass from Dempsey. Wood gathers it, loses it, and then it's taken by Stengel. Hand pass to Holmes, who hand passes it to Dangerfield. Slaps it on through the legs of Caminiti. Spins around, takes it for the Saints, and then he's taken down by Neal in a tackle. And we'll have a ball up. Outer side of the ground, centre wing. The Saints ahead by 27 points. They led by 27 at quarter time, 29 at half time, and 27 at three-quarter time as the kick comes away from Windhager. It'll be out of bounds on the full and a turnover. Ollie Dempsey goes to collect the footy for Geelong and take the pass for the Cats.
Is it enough, Berkey? 4.5 goals, 27 points?
No.
Dempsey up towards half forward. Mason Wood getting back. Takes the mark in front of Patrick Dangerfield. He looks into the middle of the ground. It's a bullet pass that finds Windhager. He takes the mark in front of Tom Atkins. Feels like all of a sudden the first goal, as we always say, is so important. It's out wide and Ryan Burns takes the mark. Centre wing on the outer side. St Kilda by 27 points. Chips it back to Windhager. This is what St Kilda have done well all night. Find the uncontested marks. To Marshall. Chips it into the pocket. Hall. Centering ball to Hill. Not 15. Call to play on. Tackled by Wilson Humphries, and the umpire says he'll ball it up.
There's another one. Questionable.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the stadium would have been upset if they had paid that mark.
In the end, it's a ball up that goes up and Rose comes down with it. Tackled by Steele. Keeler takes it, puts the kick to the top of the goal square. Higgins turns around, does well to get the footy. Hand passes to Zach Jones, who tries to weave around. In the end, he hand passes it to Wilson. And Wilson will be coming back, a free kick going Geelong's way. And Zach Guthrie to take it. So they got close to a goal there, St Kilda, but a free kick.
Jeremy Cameron getting the ball in the back pocket.
Happy
days for Saints.
To Cameron, he puts that kick right into the centre of Docklands. Hand pass from Myers comes across to Ollie Henry, who flares it out wide to O'Sullivan. He's got the ball now, broadcast side of the ground, kicks it to the top of the goal square. Blitzars can't take the mark. Hands and knees, hand pass to Close. His kick smothered, had a shot at the goals, smothered off the boot, and Close will chase after it. Owens tapped it away, did well for the Saints. O'Sullivan grabs it again, and for Geelong, he'll pop it to the goal mouth. Ollie Dempsey rises and reels down the mark for Geelong. And this is really important to put them in with a shot at going 2 from 2 from this season.
And all Webster's hard work there, where he's coming back. He probably, Blitzarf should have marked that ball. Webster done it very, very well without giving a free kick away, and then the smother to save a goal. And then he takes an easy mark like that as a contested one. Really disappointed by the Saints defenders there.
Lee Dempsey, last year's rising star, said he's been getting more attention And he puts the attention on himself now with a goal. That margin comes back down to 21 points in favour of St Kilda. It's the first time Geelong has been that close since the opening term tonight. St Kilda lead by 21 points. Geelong closing the margin, 10-9-69. St Kilda 14-6-90. 4 minutes played in this final term on ABC Sport.
Perky, I'm going to take you back a little bit where Zach Jones, I think it was, kicked it to Owens about 60 out, and he had one of the, who was it? Wanganeen running past, and he popped the ball at the top of the goal square. I would have backed his leg at about 52 out, on the run, nobody in front of him, take a little bit more space and back yourself, and nearly killed the game. He doesn't do it. Geelong transitioned the ball full length of the ground. A couple of good efforts by Webster, but wasn't good enough, and Geelong score a goal.
Dangerfield into the middle alongside Holmes and Atkins. Tap comes down from Sam De Koning to Dangerfield. Try to give it back to De Koning. Couldn't gather. Marshall lays the tackle. Danger puts his head down and wins the footy. The Geelong captain swings on his right. Kicks the ball out in front of Close. Can't hang on to it. Wanganeen Miller pinches it. Takes the bounce as he runs the wing. Not a lot further afield, so has to bide his time. Hand passes over his shoulder to Zach Jones. Into the pocket looking for Owens. Zach Guthrie up in front. Spoils it down to O'Sullivan. His kick is smothered. Good recovery from Owens. Sees the ball out of play. 65 metres out from St Kilda's goal. Saints lead by 21 points. 14-6-90 to Geelong 10-9-69. They've led from go to woe tonight. Kicking the first 2 goals of the match and never really looked back from that stage onwards. The Cats are trying to muster up a surge in this final term. Shallow throw in. Marshall tries to knock it down into the path of Steele. Wore the contact. Hand pass to Hall. Got it back to Marshall. Kicks towards Mitch Owens. It's spoiled away from him by Henry. Owens is first back onto it. Hand pass to Higgins for his fourth. Jack Higgins just in the right place at the right time. And despite the late tackle from Sam De Koning, finishes with absolute class. Saints answer back. It's a 27-point lead. 15-6-96 to Geelong 10-9-69. We played 6 minutes in the final term on ABC Sport.
Berkey, we spoke about before the game the unorthodox forward line that could work. Well, there's been a man that's really stood up tonight. He's not the tallest man in the forward line, and that's Jack Higgins. He's kicked 4 goals, and I think he's been fantastic. No Max King there, no real big focal point to say we want to go and kick it to you. Mitch Owens has been good on the lead and in the contest, but Jack Higgins has been the best forward on the ground by an absolute mole tonight. Played a fantastic role for the Saints.
There's a good clearance there by Rowan Marshall. Just to get the ball to the top of the goal square, really, really dangerous. And what the Saints had done, it had no spare cats. So it was one-on-one, brought the ball to ground, and Jack Higgins, that's where he loves it.
Steadying goal for the Saints, and Windhager wants them to go again. Gets a clearance. Hand passes it across to Marshall. Quick hand pass to Garcia. He keeps running. Puts the ball inside 50. Just goes through Keeler's fingertips. Gets the ball back. He's taken in the tackle by Jack Henry. Ball's pushed out. Garcia's got the footy again for the Saints. Hand pass back to Marshall. He dabs the kick away. He spotted Hall. A good kick, good sight from Marshall. And Hall's taken the mark, but he is 50 metres out from goal.
Keeler's got himself into really good spots today, but just hasn't been able to finish the job and take the mark.
Max Hall, a couple of goals last week in his AFL debut. He'll have a shot from here, 45-degree angle, but he'll kick from right on the paint of 50. Unleashes the kick. It's a good-looking ball. He's got the distance, but he hasn't got the accuracy. Just a minor score for
Great.
Max Hall. It's 28 points in Kilda's advantage.
It's great play by Rowan Marshall then, just to have the poise to get the ball from live and contested to finding a mark. And I think that's what the Saints have to do now. Every time the ball's live and going fast, just get it, hit a target, stop, and take the sting out of the game. Take the speed out of the game, because Geelong's going to want speed on the ball every single occasion now.
Brent Harvey with you on ABC Sport. Zach Guthrie plays on for Geelong. Kicks long up towards half-back. Blitzhouse was in the pack. Dempsey as well. It's gathered by Mason Wood, though, of the Saints. Hand pass to Marshall. Get involved in this final term. His kick is over the fingertips of Mitch Owens, and the mark taken by Connor O'Sullivan in the back pocket for Geelong. Switches play to the last line where Jack Henry takes the mark to Jeremy Cameron in the right back pocket. Picks up the half volley. Dangerous kick through the middle of the ground. Good pass. Found Nevitt. Hand pass away to Bose and now looks to Clark. He drives the kick up towards half forward. Where are the Flyers? Good work in the end as Ollie Henry worked his way to the front and claims the mark. In front of Cal Wilkie. He's still 2 kicks out from goal, though. Kicks in the direction of Blitzavs. In front. It's brought down by Marshall. Hand pass to Webster. Tough ball to gather. Close picks it up. Hand pass to Blitzavs. Over his shoulder to Closey. Can he finish from close range? You bet he can. On the right-hand side. Curls it through for his second. Geelong are still in it. Back to a 22-point lead St Kilda's way. 15-7-97 to Geelong 11-9-75. They ran the gauntlet just trying to get the hand passes closer to goal. And Ted Closey, the late inclusion, kicks his second.
Well, he's done enough now, hasn't he? He's probably should have kicked 3 because he had the one on, was it a half-time, Berkey, or three-quarter time? Kicks that, he's played a huge role. So 2 on the night as a late inclusion. He's done his role as a small, medium forward.
Jeremy Cameron, we know he's not kicking goals, but the last 2 goals that the Cats have kicked, the ball has been kicked from him in his back pocket, a dart into the middle of the ground, and then the players have run past and got the ball into an open forward line. So whilst he's not kicking goals, he's certainly creating them with his great foot skills from the back line.
Runner just going out to Zach Jones as well to give him a few tips as he takes on Cameron there on that wing. Marshall with the clearance. Hand pass it across to McRae. Darts the kick inside 50 to Owens. And Owens rolls over, marks, and holds on to the footy inside forward 50 for St Kilda. He wants to make the quick reply and he'll go back on his mark and kick from 45 metres out. Just a slight angle to the right.
This has always been his issue of late. It's his issue tonight. He's kicked the 2, but he's missed a couple of set shots that really haven't looked like going through. So hopefully further out he can actually put more effort into it and generally go straighter.
And he lines it up. Puts plenty into the kick. The umpire watches it sail across to the left. So offline that one from Mitch Owens after scoring a couple of goals in tonight's match. St Kilda's lead 23 points. 10 minutes played the final term.
Quickly brought back into play. Well done by Marcus Windhager. Wins the footy at half back for the half forward for the Saints. Trying to get a hand pass to Wilson. Worked out of it. Hard against the boundary line. Collage runs out of room. And it's sent across the boundary line for a throw-in. 23 points is the Saints' lead. 11 minutes gone in this final term. St Kilda having been belted last week by the Adelaide Crows to the tune of 63 points. The Cats had a 78-point win over the Fremantle Dockers. From the throw-in, he had a long time in the end. Clark, who was able to get a hand pass forward. Dangerfield slipped over. Wanganeen Miller gets a hand pass to Webster. He's set upon. And the umpire will ball it up. Centre wing on the broadcast side. St Kilda leading by 23 points.
This next goal is vital. Saints will be happy to go goal for goal, goal for goal. They can't let the Cats get a run on.
Marshall with the tap out right into the path of McRae. Hand pass to Garcia. He hand passes it across to O'Connell, who puts it on his boot. Looking for Owens again. He was outnumbered, and it's Humphreys that wins out the footy. Hand pass to Bowes, who trips over, puts down the footy. He loses it. He let him come in, and the umpire's called it for a trip.
Yep, so he just clipped him on the ankle.
Wasn't a lot in it, though, was it? It was just like a little fingernail on the heel.
So Bowes wins that footy back, and he clears it out to Humphreys on the outer side of the ground, who gets it across to Myers by foot, and he just chips it forward to Closey. A couple of goals, and Closey will stand with the footy at left half back.
There, the kick into the middle of the ground. Jeremy Cameron will get a free kick. Against Mason Wood. He's trying to set Geelong up in the middle of the ground. St Kilda by 23 points. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Cameron a bit indecisive. Wanted to go long to Ollie Henry. Instead goes out wide. It won't quite get to Stengel, and it's seen out of play. O'Connell in his second game. The Irishman, 22 years of age. Category B rookie, spoils it across the boundary line.
The Saints have got about a minute to go, and then they really need to cover the middle of the ground because Geelong are going to take some really big risks. And St Kilda with risk comes some reward if you defend well. So St Kilda can score on the back of it if they defend the middle of the ground.
How long can Ryan Marshall stay out there for as he gets it down to Windhager? Hand pass to Webster, kicks long up the wing. Big fly from O'Sullivan, couldn't take it for Geelong. Onto a Jack Henry, trying to cut through traffic. Good tackle late in the end by McRae. Mullen gets it forward to Myers around his body. Long towards the teeth of goal. Neal worked underneath it by Caminiti. Trickles towards goal. Dempsey, can he get a boot to it? I think he did. Something out of nothing for the rising star Cat. And he keeps them in it under the roof of Docklands. The margin back to 17 points. St Kilda 15-8-98. Geelong 12-9-81. Just as it seemed certain it was going to trickle through for a rush behind, Dempsey was able to get a boot to it to put through his second.
Gee, it's a good goal, Berkey. Just the pressure enough there, and then very, very smart. Just to get his left boot on it. Little soccer goal was a fantastic effort. Started with the pressure and a couple of slick handballs through, and it was through the middle of the ground like I just spoke about. So St Kilda really, really need to cover this part of the ground now.
Tangled with Burns, worried about rushing through a behind.
Burns got to the ball 11 metres out. He couldn't actually rush it through because it would have been deliberate. So he was in two minds and he actually kept the ball alive rather than punching it through, which would have been a free kick.
The Cats are lurking 3 straight goals away from taking the lead. As from the middle, it'll be a clearance for Geelong. Clark just gets a little boot along, but it'll be taken by Wood, who gathers the ball off the turf. Long kick down to left half forward. Intercept mark, though, will be taken by O'Sullivan. He was on a one-on-one with Collard, used his body, one out, and chips it further forward to O'Connor.
Yeah, Mason Wood has come up onto the wing now, playing on Jeremy Cameron.
Mark O'Connor from County Kerry moves the ball across and gets the hand pass back. Then he kicks to right half forward. A pack will form right on the 50, and a high free kick will be paid, going the way of Ollie Henry. So Ollie Henry with the footy. In fact, it'll go to Shannon Neal. So Shannon Neal will take it 55 metres out. Ollie Henry there for the quick hand pass. But Shannon Neal with it 55 metres out from goal. He looks to be lining up now. Shannon Neal, he's been in some solid form tonight. And he'll line up now with the pressure of this kick all on his shoulders. Skips in, lines up towards goals. It's straight from the moment it leaves his boot.
Wow.
And Geelong are well and truly in this match. The margin got out to 41 points at one point. And now St Kilda's lead is cut back to just 11. It's Geelong 13-9-87, St Kilda 15-8-98. And Geelong are coming home with a wet sail in front of a crowd of 36,663.
Rowan Marshall standing here, waving furiously to get himself back on the ground. Absolutely ridiculous that the runner isn't out there piggybacking somebody off the ground to get him back out there. Ridiculous there by the Saints bench that he's not on the ground.
They just need to get him back on. You mentioned last quarter he come back on and got the next 3 clearances for the Saints, so he needs to be on. When there's a goal kicked, everybody should be looking at the bench, especially with 10 minutes to go. That's a huge error from the Saints.
The young fella Keeler didn't quite know what to do.
Last 3 goals of the match, 4 of the last 5. The Cats are coming. Back in the middle of the ground. Windhager couldn't clear it. Spills away of Atkins of Geelong. Kicks out towards right half forward. Close caught behind. Wanganeen Miller got there first. Hand pass to Wood. Running back into traffic. Hand pass to Wanganeen Miller. Straight to Holmes of Geelong. He takes it. Tackle by Sinclair to Cameron. It's desperate now. Windhager lays the tackle. And McRae's hand pass runs out of room. And the umpire says, spin it back in. Geelong hasn't come back from a margin this big in over a decade. It was 29 points at half-time. They are coming rattling home in this final term. Having booted 4 goals to 1 from the throw-in. Spills down the way of Atkins. Can't get boot to ball. Dangerfield's in there. Shovels a hand pass forward along the turf. Wanganeen Miller kicks it back into the congestion. Atkins for Geelong. Gets it to Closey. Kicks a high ball inside 50. Ollie Henry trying to get a run at it. Neal was brought down. Umpire Clace calls play on. Wanganeen Miller knocks it back towards the teeth of goal. It spills across the face and goes out of play. Myers with a little toe poke and a boundary throw in. Up against the left behind post for Geelong. St Kilda clinging on to an 11-point advantage. There's still 9 minutes to go, though.
The Saints dragged a forward off the ground so they could get Rowan Marshall back on.
And he'll contest this ruck against Neal. Palms it down. Jones has a go. His kick smothered inside the Coventry end. Way Geelong's kicking. Hand pass can come from Windhager across to Marshall. Gets the Saints out of a little bit of trouble, but only as far as Jack Henry. Patrolling the back of the pack. Intercepts the footy. Can kick it across to Guthrie. He'll switch it to Blitzarves. And Blitzarves will move it across the dockside wing at Dockland Stadium. Long kick will put it inside 50. Danger had to sit at the front of the pack, and Danger juggles it and marks. The captain of Geelong, Patrick Dangerfield, taking a clutch mark when his side needs it. And he will have a set shot at goal from about 35 metres out. 45-degree angle to bring the margin back to single digits.
This is where the basics come into play now. Wanganeen Millera, it wasn't a spoil, it wasn't a mark, it was just a nothing attempt. That is where you've got to jump up and put your fist straight through that ball so the man in front can't mark it.
Patrick Dangerfield releases the kick and absolutely shanks it. It doesn't even make the distance, and it's rushed through for a behind.
Really, really poor effort there by and I know he's probably tired, but 35 out.
That's 10 points now, the margin. Could have been 5, but still in that double digits. St Kilda leading by 10 points, nearly 20 minutes played in the final term.
Wanganeen Millera got it from Sinclair, looks up towards halfback. Woods in the pack, O'Connell as well, spills down to the front. Hand pass to Steele, gets it away to Mason Wood, kicks long up in front of Keeler on the wing. Worked underneath it by Jack Henry. All of a sudden Geelong are starting to win a lot of these one-on-ones. In the middle of the ground for Zach Guthrie. Kicks across halfback. Mark O'Connor takes the mark. St Kilda by 10 points in front of 36,663 fans for a Saturday night on ABC Sport. Kicks into the middle of the ground for Cameron. Sinclair makes the spoil. It's stuck under Webster and Closey, and the umpire will ball it up.
Saints are better off getting Keeler off the ground now. He's been outmarked the last 4 times the ball's gone near him. His physio's out there. Play a small forward line. Use Mitch Owens as your key. Get him off.
It bounced off Max Holmes' head to Wilson. Kicks into the middle of the ground. O'Connor's hand pass to Geelong to Zach Guthrie to Cameron. Kicks inside 50. Danger going back with the flight. Spilled into Caminiti. Not forward by Closey. Geelong have the numbers. Can they gather? Neal trying to get it to Stengel. Desperate defending by the Saints. Webster's tackled. They survive the onslaught of Geelong as they push forward. Just 25 metres out from the Geelong goal. They trail by 10 points.
Still so much time for Geelong to take the lead. Marshall taps it out. It goes straight to Dangerfield, though. Hand pass to Clark. He has a shot, and he swings it too far right. It's just a minor score, but the margin goes back into single digits. St Kilda's lead just 9 points. We've hit red time in the fourth quarter.
Brad Hill has not touched the ball this quarter. Experienced player like him, he's fit, he's got to get into the game.
Sinclair to Caminiti, around the boundary line to Zach Jones. Some of the Saints starting to tie up after taking it all the way up to the Cats so far in this match under the roof. In and forward it comes to Brad Hill, who does get a touch. Hill looks around the outer wing. Doesn't get to Marshall. Wilson has to make the spoil. Trying to charge his way through. Bowes tackled, brought down, no whistle. Geelong through Zach Guthrie. His kick is smothered. Spills the way of Jack McRae. Gets the hand pass away to Hall. Drives it inside 50. Winhager one-on-one. Jack Henry takes the mark. Back with the flight. He has support of Holmes, who's trying to cover some territory. He releases him inside defensive 50.
Holmes weaves around his opponent in Higgins, takes 2 bounces as he runs right out of defensive 50 and then spears the kick across to Closey in the centre circles of Docklands. He'll go back now and flare his kick out wide. As O'Connor takes it, centre wing, he'll go for a run too. Geelong just moving the footy, puts the kick inside forward 50 into the pocket. It will be a St Kilda mark that'll be paid.
Saints forward structure just completely fallen apart. Keeler, you've got to get him off. He was up on the wing, allowing his player back inside 50. Windhager had to push back, which allowed Max Holmes to get free and run down the middle of the ground. Be smart, get him off, get the small forward line.
And moves quickly in Caminiti, took the intercept mark, just kicks it out to a pack. It goes behind Wanganeen Millera, and the tackle will be made by Stocker to bring the ball to ground. Higgins takes the footy, just curls it on his boot. He was trying to get some distance. The only one back there is none other than Jack Henry. Kicks it to Bowes, and he kicks it backwards towards Guthrie, who'll switch it to the outer side of the ground.
Out to Lawson Humphreys, who takes the mark at left half back, looks up, kneels on the read, missed him. Jones went for the spoil though for St Kilda. Awkward bounce for Hill, can't gather. Zach Guthrie runs onto it, fends off McRae. Great effort from McRae, got him in the end. Windhager takes it back for the Saints. Hand pass to Jones, kicks out looking for Hall. Lawson Humphreys in front, he dodges, he weaves, he gets away at half back. Kicks up to Stengel, he marks it left half forward, looks up, has Ollie Henry deep, can he get it to him? Kicks in that direction, he comes leading out. Sam De Koning can't take the mark. Wanganeen Millera knocks it back. Close sockers it through. Brad Close from millimetres out. He's standing next to the goal umpire as he finishes on the line.
Yeah, the Saints boys are saying it didn't come off the Cats player. They come off my foot.
It will be reviewed as it makes its way to the middle. But St Kilda's lead is cut back to 3 points at the 23-minute mark. Make that now 24-minute mark of the final term. It's a man in the front row with a sign saying that was close. That was as close as it gets. Get the photo finish as we have a look on the replay here. Boomer Harvey.
I don't know. I can't tell from that angle.
Did it come off close or did it come off Wanganeen Miller?
We need another angle. This is the angle that will tell us right now. Oh, no, it doesn't. That doesn't tell us either.
And they got the same colour boots on, so you can't tell.
Brad Close celebrated like he was the jockey on the Melbourne Cup winner.
That's a Wanganeen.
Yeah.
That is off Wanganeen.
Wanganeen foot.
And all of a sudden, the goal review is cancelled. Huge. Brad Close's goal is denied. The 3-point lead goes back to 9. St Kilda fans take a deep breath. How are you feeling?
While they're doing that, Brendan Bolton, you're the forward coach of the Saints, do something. They've got the ball 4 times through the middle of the ground, had no one inside forward 50 except Cats players.
It was non-existent, wasn't it?
No, they had to try and invent something. They've lost the ball every single time. Keeler's out on his legs. He can't run. He's cramping and he's getting stuck up the ground. Henry's staying back inside 50, causing havoc. Rearrange that forward line, Brendan Bolton. Earn your money.
Sai Wanganeen Miller with his kick out. Comes out of defence. It'll be a ball up on the wing.
We're not at Carlton now doing crap things. You're here. It's more important. Do something, Brendan Bolton.
Do something. There's so much left in this game. 4 minutes remaining. And St Kilda's lead is down to 8 points as the ball is tossed up half forward for Geelong. They're able to get it via Clark. Inside 50 he'll go. Bombs it to a pack. Players all surrounding the footy. In came Cameron flying. Couldn't take the mark. Dempsey has a go at it. Then Wood just hacks the kick away. It's in prime position for Closing. He can hand pass it across to Atkins. High kick. It won't make the distance to goals, but it'll drop right in front of players surrounding it. Trying to gain control. One of those is Ollie Henry. He hand passes it to Close. Close goes to ground. He's tackled to the turf. St Kilda players dive on top of him and hold on to this footy for dear life. A ball luck right forward pocket for Geelong. They're trailing by 8 points late stages of this contest.
Thrown up, Neil tries to slap it down, spills the way of Stengel, hard against the boundary, centres it back to the teeth of goal. Great mark.
Who was that?
That is Liam O'Connell.
Outstanding mark.
Coming one direction was Closey, coming the other direction was Clark, and he was courageous as much as you could be. He takes a very impressive mark.
Cat supporters are saying, where's this intensity been?
Goes back to Caminiti, who turns it over. Blitzavs takes the mark at left half forward in front of Hall. He's still 55 metres out from goal. Veers out to the right, gains every millimetre. Long towards Neil. Caminiti takes the mark. Metres out from his goal line. St Kilda clinging on to an 8-point lead. Just over 3 minutes to go.
Clinging is the right word for what St Kilda is doing as Caminiti kicks the ball outside of defensive 50. The ball will fall to ground to Koenig. Hand passes it away to Atkins, who can pick it up, twirl around and put Geelong right back inside 50 to a contest that'll form over the back. Here's Dempsey, can't take the mark. Plays for the free kick. Hill has it, practically throws it. Dangerfield takes it, pushes his way through traffic. Hand pass to Cameron, just paddling it to himself. Does well to hand pass to Myers. He gets through some traffic. Wilkie stops him from getting any further. Then O'Connell takes the footy, and he's brought to ground, the Irishman from County Cork, and we will have a ball up top of attacking 50 for Geelong. 8 points the margin St Kilda's way.
Marshall wins down the tap. McRae tries to knock it forward. Close slaps it forward for Geelong. Hand pass comes out. Myers to Dangerfield. Danger denied on the goal line. Caminiti gets a finger to it.
Wow.
It's coming down to millimetres between these two sides. First it was close. Wanganeen Miller had denied him. And this time right on the goal line, it's Caminiti. 7-point lead St Kilda's way.
They're going to have to kick 2 goals here, the Cats, to win this game. So St Kilda just need to kill it. But it's important that they don't lose their structure of their forward line, no, Berkey. They've got to have somebody to kick to.
If they had won the ball in the back line in the last 3 minutes, they had no one outside 50.
The back line, it's Wood, whose kick goes straight over the top of Pollard. It'll come O'Sullivan to take the footy, just bangs it into the forward pocket, and in the end it's out of bounds on the full.
That's a huge result for St Kilda, because that would have made it a 6-point ball game if you even had scored a point. Mason Wood, what were you thinking going back through the middle of the ground? You do not need to do that with 1:45 to go.
The smallest player on the ground.
So O'Sullivan's kick goes begging, it goes out, and Wilkie with the kick will exit defensive 50 again. It's a pack that's forming. Up goes O'Sullivan, can't take the mark, ricochets off Atkins and comes back to O'Sullivan. Across to Stengel, hand pass to Holmes. They're moving quickly here, too quickly for Closey perhaps, and it's Burns who can pick it up inside defensive 50 for St Kilda, and clearing kick to McRae. And with his 251 games of experience, he just tells everyone to settle down. Saints ahead by 7 points, not long left in this match.
Can the Saints stay composed as McRae goes back to Wilkie?
This has got to go to Marshall. This has to go to Marshall down the line now. He's got nobody to kick to, and he has to bring it to the ground.
Wilkie veers to the left, hugs the boundary line, kicks to Mason Wood, who takes the mark. All eyes were on Marcus Winhager and Rowan Marshall, and Mason Wood realising time is of the essence, pushes back behind his mark at left half back.
He had someone on short. Don't go across goal.
He has to off a step, bang it long. Close to the boundary, out on the full is Keeler. Surely was over the boundary line. He's made the mark.
Oh, boundary umpire put his hands behind his back.
Jack Bowe's gestures. He thought it was out on the full. Isaac Keeler on debut is on the synthetic turf up against the fence, taking his time. The clock stops. There's 23 seconds remaining.
The clock actually went down about 6 seconds then. It was on 28, now it's on 23, so
get him off.
So he can't take the kick, so Jack Sinclair is going to take it. Umpire says he has to go off. Every second is valuable for the Saints as Sinclair has it. It's a 2-score game for St Kilda, so really they just need to finish now. Sinclair out to the right, kicks it deep to the back pocket. Blitzav's underneath it, spoiled away from him. Running onto it, Sam de Koning. Hand pass close to the boundary line. It goes out in front of Mark Blitzavs and Hugo Garcia. Umpire says throw it in. St Kilda leading by 7 points. The Saints fans stand to their feet in the aisles. They led by 41 points. Geelong got back within single digits. It's thrown back in. Blitzhouse in front. It spills to the back. Myers gets a hand pass. Bowes places away into the middle of the ground. Sinclair underneath it. Clears the pack. Bounces out in front of Wanganeen Miller. And the siren sounds. It's a St Kilda shock under the roof. They defeat Geelong by 7 points and they cling on to victory.
Wow.
13-8-98 to Geelong 13-13-91. Geelong with the last 3 goals of the match, but the Saints prevail.
When the Saints go marching in, oh, when the Saints go marching in, oh, how I want to be with St Kilda. When the Saints go marching in.
St Kilda 15-8-98 to Geelong 13-13-91, and the Saints are on the board in season 2025. They led from go to woe by 27 points at quarter time. They kicked 6 goals to 1 in the opening term, by 30 points at half time, by 27 at 3/4 time, before Geelong finished with 4 goals 4 to St Kilda's 1 goal 2 in the final term. The Saints run out victors by 7 points. There were so many moments in that final term. Brad Close running into the open goal where he tried to get a boot to it. It was deemed to have come off the boot of Wanganeen Miller. And then right at the very end, Caminiti was able to get on the goal line to deny Patrick Dangerfield. And in the end, the Saints were just simply too good. Jack Higgins finished with 4 goals for the winners. 2 goals to Winhager, Collard, Owens, Wood and Jack Sinclair. While an individual goal to Isaac Keeler on debut. While for Geelong, 2 goals to Stengel, Dempsey, Neal and Closey. Individuals to Cameron, Holmes, Nevitt, Close and Blitzavs. I'm not sure if I mentioned Shannon Neal kicked 2 goals as well, but the Cats 13-13-91, St Kilda 15-8-98 in front of 36,663 fans. The Saints are winners in round 2. It's some turnaround after their shellacking at the hands of the Crows by 63 points. And Ross Lyon does it again against Chris Scott. 2 wins on the trot, having prevailed back in round 24 last season. Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke with their thoughts on St Kilda's 7-point win.
How do you win footy tipping with this sort of stuff, Berkey? This is unbelievable. The Saints got absolutely belted, pantsed, everything you want to say last week, and people are saying they're going to be bottom 2, bottom 3, and then they come out and beat one of the teams that absolutely pants another team last week. So I thought they were fantastic. I think the structure around the way that they started the game with some really, really good coaching, the way they dropped their eyes going inside forward 50, the way that they methodically placed the ball with their kick mark, really caught Geelong off guard. To be 27 points up at quarter time, 6-1 was a huge start and the reason why they won the game. I think they caught Geelong napping. It was very, very, very well coached.
It was, and probably the first 4 or 5 minutes, all of us up here identified what the Saints were going to do, but it took Geelong 3 1/2 quarters to be able to do anything about it. It wasn't until they sort of shut down those short passes, forced them long, and then when Geelong actually for the first time started to bring the ball back through the middle of the ground. So Jeremy Cameron pushed back into defence, used his long left foot to hit a target through the middle, and then off they went to the races and started running past. The first 3 quarters, the amount of times that they actually brought the ball back through the corridor, whether that was just the Saints clogging that up, I don't know. But it was non-existent. When they started to use that, take some risks, that's when they looked dangerous. That's when they got the ball to an open forward line and their small players started to come into play and started to swarm around the football. So it was a risk-averse game by Geelong, in my opinion. It wasn't until everything was on the line that they started to take the game on. But for the Saints, it was a case of, how long do we hang on? How long do we hang on? They got out of shape at the end there. They went away from the game plan that they wanted to use. They lost their forward line completely.
Marshall got stuck on the bench for 6 to 7 minutes at a time.
Twice, third quarter, last quarter. The ruck was a guy who was cramping, couldn't move out of sight. They ended up pulling a forward off just so they could get him on the ground. They're things that will kill you in close games against teams who can score really, really quickly. But luckily tonight they were fortunate. It didn't hurt them too much. They hung on till the end. So now the Saints will go away and they'll be thinking, hey, when we play a certain style and we commit to it and we're disciplined to it, we can do good things. We can do really, really good things. If we want to take teams on just purely by skill level and play them at their own games, they're not good enough to do that. And they saw that last week. They have to come with a plan and they have to execute that plan, but the bedrock has to be just fierce pressure. And if their pressure at the start, I think, probably shocked Geelong a little bit. They were coming down here thinking, we'll just sort of roll through this one, but the pressure really got to them. And as I said, it wasn't until their backs were really against the wall, they had nothing to lose, that they started to take the game on and started to kick some goals.
I feel like they got their matchups really well done at the start. Yeah. Owens was playing as a forward but was going to Tom Stewart at the start. I know Tom Stewart didn't last very long, but that matchup was working when Tom Stewart was on because he didn't really touch the football. Max Holmes early on with Windenhager, he was fantastic on him, and everybody else played their role as well. And then, of course, Geelong had to bring Jeremy Cameron up to the wing because he wasn't getting the use of the ball inside the forward 50. I know he's ended up with a goal and had 16 touches, and Berkey, you touched on it, some of his field kicking was elite. But when he's kicking the ball outside of the defensive 50 for Geelong, that's a huge win for the opposition. So I just feel like they got their matchups right. And on the other hand, St Kilda's good players. Mason Wood was outstanding. Jack McRae, I thought was fantastic. Rowan Marshall played another ripper game. And Zach Jones.
Yeah,
the stuff he did with the ball, but the hard stuff he did without the ball. I just thought they got their matchups right from the start, and it showed. They were well coached tonight. I'm going to keep coming back to that. Ross Lyon did a fantastic job.
Yeah, Windhager, 25 and 2 goals against Max home, 19.
Yep. Saints winners by 7 points. Let's join them with Alexa Pesce.
Saints go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, I want to be St Kilda. Oh, when the Saints go marching in.
St Kilda winners by 7 points, 15-8-98 to Geelong, 13-13-91. And the three players inside the circle for their first winners, Sainters. Jack McRae playing his 251st game. Isaac Keeler, who kicked a goal on debut. Max Hall, who kicked multiple goals last week against the Adelaide Crows in a losing cause. He kicked 2 goals there. And Liam O'Connell, the Irishman, Category B rookie, who has found his way into the senior side. Hugs and smiles all round. Lex Pesce will bring us some reaction from the Saints rooms, and I'm sure the mood will be a little different in Geelong, having left a lot of work for the final term. They got close, but in the end, not quite close enough to finish in some of those tight moments, Berkey.
Yeah, and I think it's a sign of what we'll see this year. If you are 10% off your game, and the Cats were, they started slow. If you're 10% off your game, you'll be in for shock. There'll be teams that, sitting 14th, 15th on the ladder that'll jump up and bite you on the backside.
Let's head back down to the St Kilda rooms. Over to you, Lex.
Hello, guys. Yes, I am with Rowan Marshall, who's just dapping up someone at the moment, but a very, very happy energy down here. We'll wait for him. Rowan, thank you very much for your time. It must feel good to hear that song.
Sorry, what was that?
So he's very excited. It must feel good to hear that song.
Yeah, so good. Obviously lowered our colours last week against the Crows, but, we reviewed the game really heavily throughout the week and, really proud of how the boys bounced back tonight.
You can feel how much this side relies on you and how much they just wanted to get you out there during especially that fourth quarter. Someone just asked Rowan Marshall if he's Jack Still. No, he's not Jack Still. How much this side relies on you and how much they needed you. Can you feel that? And are you hungry from that side of the bench to just get out there and make it all work?
Oh, not really, to be honest. I think we need, everyone on the field, and that was the pleasing thing about tonight. I thought we had 23 contributors and everyone played their role and, stepped up in the big moments. So, bloody good win. I'm
going to hand you over to our ABC experts, Nathan Boomer Harvey and Nathan Burke. Over to you guys.
Yeah, g'day Rowan. Nathan Burke here, mate. Congratulations tonight. Quick one. There's a real distinctive game plan right from the start tonight to really maintain possession, keep the ball out of Geelong's hands. That's what it looked like from here. Really use the ball well and directing inside forward 50. Was that a game plan that you set yourself for Geelong in particular, or is that the sort of style that you've been working on over the whole summer?
It's probably the style we've been working on all throughout summer. Last week our ball movement was pretty poor in patches. We showed it in glimpses, but definitely not for long enough. And tonight I thought first half that's the type of footy we want to play. That's Saints footy, and I think we've got a really fit group, and our game style complements that.
And it got a bit shaky towards the end there, mate. Well, honestly, what was going through your head? We've done a lot of hard work here and we're going to fall over, or you had it under control?
Hold on. Really, I thought there were some really big moments late, Naz getting that toe in on the line. I was convinced he booted it through as well, and, I'm glad for that score review system.
Is he a bloke who'll tell the truth or try to con the umpires?
No, Naz always tells the truth.
Good.
And then, some of those aerial contests from our key backs, Wilkes does it every week. Some of the other boys, Anthony Caminiti. Sorry, boys. There we go. Sorry, I'm losing you a bit. Just really, really pleased with the boys.
Rowan, Brent Harvey up here. Congratulations on the win and a personal level. Fantastic. Win. You still got us there, buddy?
Yeah, sorry, got you now.
That's all right, mate. We can see from up here, we've got a fantastic view of the ground. We've seen you stuck on the bench on a couple of occasions for about 4 or 5 minutes, waving your arms around at the forwards, at the mids, to somebody just come off. We need the big fella back on the ground. Talk us through that.
The ball was just over that side for, 10 minutes. I was just wanting to get back on the ground, but, Kill stepped up in the ruck whilst I was off and finally got back on. So, that was pleasing.
We've seen Marcus Winhager go to Max Holmes as well tonight. At the start of the game, it looked like you guys went out of your way to really make life tough for Holmes, who obviously gives Geelong a lot of drive. A lot of pushes, a lot of fists in the chest and the arm area. Was that a ploy by Ross and the team?
We definitely we definitely targeted. We knew Windy's a really good lockdown player, but we wanted to be physical with everyone and really throw the first punch tonight. And the boys came out really hot, and I thought we saw that, in the first quarter. And it's pleasing to start that way, and it definitely gives you momentum throughout the rest of the game.
One more from me, mate. Jack McRae, tell us what he brings to the football club. And don't talk so much about possessions. He's had 35 touches again tonight. He's been outstanding the first 2 games for you guys. Outside of the possessions, what does he bring to the young group?
Oh, so much. Obviously, he's a superstar on field, but off field he's probably even more important, his leadership. Experienced player, 251 games now, but to our younger mids, Marcus Windhager, Hugo Garcia, and co, he's just so good with them, sits them down. He's always working with them at the end of training, going through vision, talking about body position and everything like that. And, I think we've really seen it in some of their games early on. So, he's so valuable to us.
Rowan Marshall, St Kilda Ruck, joining us on ABC Sport after the Saints' 7-point win. Rowan, it's Lauren Borden here. We saw you in the forward line a lot last week with Harry Boyd taking on the ruck duties. Then you were back in there today and spending most of the time in the middle and in the ruck. Where do you see where you'll be balancing your time for the rest of the season?
I think it'll probably just depend week by week and whatever Ross wants. Obviously, we've got... we're pretty light on in terms of key position forward stocks at the minute with Big Maxi out and hopefully Cooper Sharman coming back soon. So, I think it was just what was needed last week, and I'm happy to play wherever as long as we're winning, really.
I think last week the comment from Ross Lyon, Rowan, was that you're in the bottom 2 for pressure. What did you feel was the biggest change tonight? Was it mental? You've had obviously a great record against Geelong and love playing back at home under the roof.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, we wanted to come out tonight and probably throw the first punch, and our pressure's really been lacking throughout last week in that last Pracky game. So, I thought it was red hot under the roof and great to have our loyal supporters out here tonight. I got really loud at stages and definitely gives the boys a lot of momentum.
Back-to-back wins over the Cats for the first time since 2010. Rowan, thanks as always for your time. Congratulations, you're on the winners list.
There you go. Thank you.
Rowan Marshall joining us after the Saints are 7-point winners over Geelong, 15-8-98 to the Cats, 13-13-91. And that's always the interesting battle with Sam de Koning taking over that responsibility. Chris Scott wants to get that opportunity in. He said during the week there will be a time in which he and Reece Stanley play together, but for the moment it's young Sam de Koning's opportunity. And Rowan Marshall was instrumental, really. 29 disposals, 7 clearances, 8 score involvements, and he is such a barometer for the Saints.
He is, and I think last week they erred with him spending so much time forward. They tried something different. A new player in the ruck, South Australian over there, probably in front of his home crowd, get up and push Rowan forward. But tonight we saw it. He needs to be up around the football. He can rest forward if he needs to, but the team just relies on him so much up around the ball. And it's an interesting move tonight, considering that the Saints are very short of key forwards. They've got a lot of injured ones. The one who's been playing up forward, they played him down back, so Anthony Caminetti. So it was a bit of a risky move from the Saints to do that, considering that Cooper Sharman and Max King and those blokes are out of the side. Your third best forward, you start him in the back line. But it worked. Caminetti was okay. Shannon Neal took a couple of marks and kicked a couple of nice goals, but didn't have a huge influence on the game. So that you've got to put another one down to selection. And Boomer mentioned the other selection was Zach Jones. Didn't have a great game last week by any stretch. There was a lot of St Kilda talk on the socials about why are we dropping young players that came into the team last week. We dropped a few young ones, kept players like Zach Jones in and play him on a wing. You wouldn't anticipate him being that winger, but for the first 3 quarters he was close to best player on the ground.
Looks pretty packed in that St Kilda rooms, Berkey. Looks like they're all there enjoying the win and lots of backslapping taking place. I mean, when it's a season where your expectations are not, that you're going to be a top 4 side, questionable whether you'll be a top 8 side. I mean, these wins are so important for building your environment and the development of your young players to give them the right indication that you're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, it has been a great pre-season. They got flogged by Port Adelaide at home at Moorabbin. Got flogged last week, so confidence wouldn't have been hugely high at this point, but to bounce back like they did today was really strong.
It is absolutely amazing when you win the game and the rooms are packed like that. Follow a couple of weeks later and you lose one and nobody wants to know you. It's the most loneliest place of all time. So good to see there's a few backslappers in the Saints rooms.
I want to talk about Higgins as well. Four goals.
Outstanding.
Outstanding. 12 possessions, 4 goals. I thought his pressure today was really, really good. There's 4 or 5 times where he didn't actually catch the guy, but he sprinted. You can tell he was going 100 miles an hour. And young Collard was down there. Kicked 2 goals. Collard's problem, every time he plays, he only gets 5-6 possessions. He's got to learn how to get 12, 13, 14. He had 6 tonight, 2 goals.
Nathan Burke, Brent Harvey, Matt Clinch and Lauren Borton. Let's head back down to Lex Peshier.
Hello, guys. I have Hunter Clark with me. Unfortunately for him, though, it wasn't... You didn't run out the game you may have liked to, especially in your 100th game. What happened there?
I just fucking... Oh, sorry.
Try again.
I pulled a kick. I had a bit of groin stuff over the off-season. I just think I retweaked it a little bit, so just hurt a bit. But it was a gutsy win by the boys. One of the best have been involved, so over the moon.
Is it really hard to be in the position that you are when you're in, 41 points up at three-quarter time, then to come so close? Is it hard to be sort of not being able to give your best in those moments?
Yeah, I think so. But, we knew Geelong were going to come. So we'd rather be 41 points up and have to defend the lead than chase the lead like 41. So, like I said, gutsy win and couldn't be proud of the boys.
Guys, it's over to you upstairs.
Hunter, Nathan Burke, mate. Congratulations, mate. Super effort. Jack McRae coming in. To me, you're very similar players. You're probably not going to get the ball and zoom away from someone and have 10 bounces, but you do your work in tight where it's really, really important. Have you learnt much from the old fella?
Yeah, he's obviously had a huge career at the Doggies. So it's been great to get him across. His body work around the stoppage. Yeah, we are similar. Haven't probably got that breakaway speed, but he's really taught me a lot and been so given with his time. So it's been unreal to play with him so far.
And just the confidence when Rowan Marshall's the big fella jumping up. Does your mind go from, okay, I need to stop this bloke from actually getting the 42, maybe 70-30, how can I actually get the ball? Is that the difference when you see the big fella around and just your mindset of when that ball is released from the umpire?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, he's been doing it for a while now, one of the top ruckmen in the comp. He gives his all every single possession, every contest, so it makes our job a lot easier. We just got to be tough in the contest. Obviously not going to win everyone, but with him it just gives us so much confidence to get aggressive and throw something at the oppo.
Hunter, we've been speaking up here about the forward line a little bit with Jack Higgins popping up and kicking 4. Mitch Owens was probably the focal point tonight. Without King, you guys through the midfield win the ball, you look up, you got a big opposing figure in King, but he's not there now. So tonight it looked like you guys had an option of dropping the eyes, and Mitch Owen was really hitting up. If the ball hit the deck, you had those smalls at their feet. So it wasn't the big normal forward line, but it seemed to work for you guys tonight.
Yeah, 100%. I think last week we had pretty much the same forward line, like small forward line. We probably just blazed away, bombed it, didn't give those fellas a chance. Today we used the ball a bit better. Obviously with smalls, the ball on the deck is going to be an advantage. And Cheeto, he just really straightened us up, so strong, and brought Higo and little Lancey Collard into it. Those boys are electric.
Hunter, who leads the song now? I know a long time ago Stephen Milne used to do it, and Gresham used to do it. Who's the guy in charge now?
It's actually Wilkes. He's
okay.
He's known as the accountant, but he's probably similar to those fellas behind closed doors. So he gets us going. He's one of our leaders. We all love him, and he was unreal tonight.
Hunter, congratulations on 100 games as well. It's a nice milestone for you, and it's taken a long time to get here. So your 8th season, you finally reached there. There have been a lot of injuries along the way. So how wrapped are you and proud of you to get to this moment that you can run out for 100 games?
Yeah, it's been tough last 3 or 4 years, but it's probably taught me a lot of resilience. There was definitely times where I thought, just you're down in the dumps, things just aren't going your way, but I've loved Ross and the new coaches. They've given me so much belief in myself. Obviously tonight, body kind of let me down, but I've loved playing under these guys, and to get to hundreds, obviously a good milestone, and it was cracking win by the boys, so one I won't forget.
Hunter, it's the start of the year, so on national radio around the country, who are the young players who's impressed you the most? Who do you want to claim as someone you've seen who has the potential to really step up either this season or in the near future?
Oh, I think there's obviously a number. Like, we've got such a young team in. I was so proud of Lancey tonight. He's worked so hard over the off season. His pressure. He's got I think he's a kid. Probably hasn't played a lot of footy, but he's got all the talent in the world. And he's bringing his pressure and that. He's just unreal. And Big Keels had some really nice moments. I feel the thing is, all the young boys had some moments tonight, so it's really exciting for the footy club and going forward on the year.
They certainly did. Hunter Clark, congratulations on your 100th game and the win tonight. Hopefully the injury's not too bad. Thanks as always for your time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hunter Clark joining us after St Kilda's 7-point win over Geelong. And as Lauren touched on, 8 years to get to the 100-game milestone. It's certainly a significant milestone for a lot of players where they celebrate with their families and those that have helped them along the way. He's had some sickening injuries across the journey, and he's one who Ross Lyon would be hoping the best is still yet to come.
Yeah, it was he and Nick Caulfield. I think they were drafted 7 and 8. And both of them have had horrid runs up to this point. Caulfield obviously now with the Western Bulldogs. But knees in pre-season, so you missed the whole year. Those sorts of things. Hunter just hasn't had a run in it. But both of those players, as I said, picked 7 and 8, extreme talents. We just got to hope that at this point their bodies get stronger and can cope with the rigours of football, because there's certainly a heap of talent between both of those boys.
So then how does he make the most of this opportunity? He was a sub last week. He's in the side now. Even someone like a Ryan Burns, there's a few injuries in this St Kilda side, and some of these guys who might have started as a sub or played 5 or 6 games last year, they're in the side at the start of the season. And how do they make themselves stay in it?
So he'll have a certain role. Most teams have defensive mids, burst mids that it can get forward and kick goals. He'll have a role that Ross wants him to play, and that might not be... He's only ended up with the 11 touches tonight, but that might be his role going, we need you at the source, winning the football, giving it out to Hill and these type of guys who can spread. So as long as he plays his role, which we don't really know what it is, we can ask him and he'll give us a little bit, but he's not going to tell us everything because they don't want the opposition to know. As long as he's playing his role, he'll have a spot in the team every single week, and that's the same as every single player on their list. They don't expect we don't expect everyone to come out and get 25, 30 touches, kick 2 goals, or run off half-back and have rebound 50s. Everyone's got a little role to play, and he'll have his role. He's just got to execute it every single week.
Honest opinions, did we think the Cats were going to get there in the end 5 minutes ago?
It was looking like it, yeah. And look, they had the opportunities. Like Dangerfield has a shot from 35 out and doesn't make the distance. Even the one that he snapped was touched on the line. He kicks out an extra metre in the air and it's a goal. So, they had their opportunities and they were coming, and their small players certainly lifted and got themselves into the game. But where were they for 3 quarters? That's the question that Geelong need to ask themselves.
And I think I said it at 3-quarter time. I thought Jeremy Cameron needed to go forward and kick 2 goals in the last quarter for Geelong to win. He didn't do that. He spent most of his time on the wing, and we called it. He was kicking the ball beautifully out of the back half, but that's okay. If you're Ross Lyon, you'd rather him kicking the ball beautifully in the back half than kicking the ball beautifully in the front half. So I thought that was a win by St Kilda, and I thought they probably could have pulled that trigger a little bit quicker of getting him forward in the last quarter.
And the other thing, his opponent was still getting plenty of the footy.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they were just following him around. You've taken the Saints winger out. The Saints wingers probably dominated possession-wise when he was up on the wing.
Yep.
There was a stray elbow from Patrick Dangerfield on Ryan Burns, which will be looked at by the match review officer. But when you think about Geelong's big win over Fremantle last week, they're obviously missing Bailey Smith tonight. And one of the concerns for Chris Scott, I guess, with a slightly younger midfield with Max Holmes in there, the likes of Tom Atkins, Jai Clark getting his opportunity, Jack Bowes, is do they have the outside sort of transition run? And tonight, St Kilda were really able to play a somewhat unselfish role to try and take all those short options, play the uncontested game and really force Geelong into a style of game which they just didn't have the discipline really to go with them.
It's amazing how one player can create so much difference, and I call it the snowballing effect. So Bailey Smith plays tonight. Who does Winhagen go to? Does he go to Smith or does he go to Holmes? One of them would have got off the leash. And I thought tonight Geelong didn't look like that zippy break-the-line team until they really had to and win the game. They started playing a little bit more risk. But in the first half, they certainly didn't play like that. And I thought that they missed a lot of run and a lot of drive. And obviously, Bailey Smith does that for 4 quarters because he's an elite runner.
Because they had Cameron and Blitzarves on the wings for a large part of this game. Saints won the wing battle. Absolutely. Cameron was reduced to just an average player, 16 possessions.
And he got most of them in the second half because the first half was really, really quiet.
You know, you can get some other lesser player. I was going to say Spud, but I was going to lesser player to play on the wing and get 16 possessions.
Well, the guys who played on the wing for St Kilda for most of the night was Mason Wood.
Yep.
Zach Jones.
He had 26.
And Bradley Hill were the 3 sort of mainstay wingers.
And Wilson had 17 as well.
Yep.
And O'Sheen Mullen went to Brad Hill in the second half to try and quell his influence. He finished with 13 disposals. So, I mean, you mentioned Jeremy Cameron sort of playing that role in the middle of the ground to try and provide that transition sort of run, that great kick across half back. Patrick Dangerfield, if they don't have him in the middle of the ground, they lack that burst player, don't they, to really break the lines.
They do, and they had Max Holmes. He's the one that does that. They had him under control. So he ended up starting the second quarter. I think he started as a half forward and was coming up as an extra. And then at the start of the third quarter, he went back to half back. So again, St Kilda won the coaching battle there, and they tried to do something with Holmes, but they just couldn't get him into the game. I thought the St Kilda coaching staff did a fantastic job there.
And Tom Stewart is probably the other one we should mention. Unfortunately, he subbed out of the match in the second quarter with a left leg injury. I mean, Mitch Owens seems like he was the player who was set to play that defensive role on Tom Stewart, try and hold him accountable and push up the ground.
The very first centre bounce, he went straight to him, and it was a bit of push and shove, and a couple of Geelong players come over to try to keep him away. But Mitch Owens, I think he kicked an early goal or he set one up for St Kilda, and Stewart was 6 or 7 metres away from him. So he was literally trying to read the ball, but St Kilda dropped their eyes to Mitch Owens a few times when Stewart was on him. I thought they would have had Stewart under control even if he stayed out in the ground.
What did you make of Geelong's defence in total? They looked a little bit nervy in that first half. The last quarter, Jack Henry was patrolling the back line, and Cam Guthrie as well, Zach Guthrie as well, looked a little bit more stable, but it was a little nervy in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it looked good in the last quarter because Saints didn't have a forward line for a lot of the quarter. Their forwards panicked and just ran up the ground willy-nilly. They play well when you play into their hands. If you want to bomb that ball long, Geelong have always done it. They'll get back, they'll win that. Tom Stewart will come across, take the intercept mark, and they just set up and run, and away they go. Saints didn't allow them to play the way that they wanted. They made them accountable. And these days, no defenders want to be accountable. They all want to just zone off and intercept and run and go. Saints didn't kick the ball in that fashion, so they really struggled to get themselves into the game.
And I think I used the word scramble a fair bit tonight. When you got the opposition defence running back to goal with their back to the team's goal, that's a massive win. Because then the forwards can turn around, tick lead as they call it, or reset and hit back up at the football, or just go in one-on-one. We've seen a number of occasions tonight where the ball was quick movement and St Kilda had 3 forwards to Geelong's 2 backmen. And it was just a huge win for the Saints. So they played slow, they kicked mark, but when they needed to go quick and break a line and get the ball in, I thought they did that fantastically well.
St Kilda 7-point winners over Geelong here at Docklands, 15-8-98 to the Cats 13-13-91. On the SMS 0437 774 774. Fair dinkum win is goals kicked, not goals denied. No pride winning in that way. And Paul says, loved Berkey's emotional call towards the end of the game to get him off, get him on. Brendan Bolton, do your job. I was thinking exactly the same thing listening at the time. Great win for the Saints. Salvador says, Cats can be proud of the way they fought back and it was lucky finger and lucky boot that cost them the game. 2 goals, and they retained some percentage. Jack McRae, 35 disposals, 9 clearances, 10 tackles, 10 score involvements. Has that been a win-win for both sides? I mean, the Western Bulldogs probably were looking to give opportunities to that next wave of midfielders. Ed Richards coming in.
What did they get for McRae? Was he a free agent that just left?
No, he's a part of basically a 4-way club deal, which got him to the Saints. Bailey Smith got from the Western Bulldogs to Geelong. I have to go back and look.
That's okay.
I don't think the Saints gave up much, sort of 26s or something from memory. But he was criticised last week for
having 35 touches again.
Yeah, getting a lot of possessions, but not a lot coming from it. But you know what? Your job is to get the ball. If there's no one to kick it to, or the people that you kick it to lose the ball, that's not your fault. Absolutely tonight. You got a lot of touches, but what I look at is the ball squirts out along the ground to him. He doesn't fumble. He picks it up, he handballs to someone else, and away the team goes. That's the value of a guy like that. You just cannot underestimate what a fumble does in today's football. It just attracts everyone. It's a ball up. You lose the footy. Just his security, it was amazing.
We talk about roles. Again, we spoke about roles before with Hunter Clark. So his role is not to break lines.
No.
He's a beautiful kick. His role is to win the ball in close, give the hands, get a 1-2, kick the ball in the forward 50. How many inside 50s did he have tonight? He had 7 inside 50s. You want him kicking the ball. He doesn't need to run and bounce. That's Brad Hill's job. That's Sinclair's job. So they've got a lot of players that can do that. They needed another accumulator who can just win the football and give first option to his teammates and put them in time and space. I think he does that fantastic. 2 weeks in a row now he's had over 30. What do you have last week? You had 35 again, I think.
Yep.
So he's back there. He's had 70 possessions in 2 games, 9 clearances this week.
10 score involvement.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. He's nearly the best player on the ground tonight.
34 disposals and 12 clearances last week, 35 tonight, alongside his 9 clearances. Mitch Turner. Thank you, McRae, for pick 45. So in the end,
win.
The Saints would classify that as a win. And if nothing else, he can sort of remind Rowan Marshall sometimes, don't take it out of the ruck and do it all yourself. You've got me right here. Give it to me or Jack Steele. The Saints turn their attention to next Saturday. They take on the Tigers back here at Docklands after Richmond went down today to Port Adelaide by 72 points. Geelong hit the road. They take on the Brisbane Lions on Saturday night. So all of a sudden that becomes a big game. The Lions still have, obviously, tomorrow to play with. They'll have their unfurling of the premiership flag. But, if the initial impressions for the Brisbane Lions are something to go for with their win over the Sydney Swans coming from behind, they should be too strong for the West Coast Eagles.
Next week, Geelong play Brisbane?
It's a filling.
They've got to buy. Oh, that's the of course. I'm just looking at my
Cyclone
game.
game.
I'm sure I've got it written here. Geelong have got to buy.
Yeah.
No, they haven't.
Filling.
Oh, the Cyclone.
Yep.
Ex-Alfred.
Correct. So, Brisbane Lions still to play. West Coast in the early game tomorrow. Coverage available on the ABC Listen app for those stations that won't have it on ABC local radio. And then, Cyclone Alfred game, the game that was postponed from the Thursday night of opening round, will now be on the Saturday night, which is a bit of a shame because the Saturday night has Hawthorn and the Giants, and now Brisbane and Geelong
at the same time,
as opposed to tonight where we had the standalone Saturday night fixture with the Thursday nights. But anyway, what can we do there? The other results today, as we mentioned, the Tigers went down to Port Adelaide by 72 points, 21-14, 140 the Power to the Tigers 9-14, 68. At one stage it did get out above 80 points, but Richmond were able to put a little bit of pride on the scoreline late. Mitch Georgiades kicked 4 goals, Sam Powell-Pepper 3, alongside Willie Rioli, while Connor Rosie got the votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. So for Port Adelaide, I guess all the questions were going to be around Ken Hinkley and their disappointing loss in round 1 against Collingwood. So if nothing else, it's a good settler for Port Adelaide to get back on the winners list.
Yeah, and they'd probably say they had an easy kill, but Richmond won in round 1 against the Blues. So whether it was an easy kill or not, it doesn't matter. You're on the winners list now, and they played really good football. So they'll turn their attention next week to their new opponents and go from there.
It's a week-by-week proposition for them.
It has to be.
It keeps the Wolves away this week. If they lose next week, they'll be back there banging on the door. It's going to happen every single week.
It certainly will. Port Adelaide turn their attention next week as they have the Thursday night clash as they travel to Melbourne to take on the Bombers. St Kilda's winners by 7 points. Let's head down to the Cats' rooms. Alexa Peshier has made her way to the Cats' rooms.
I think I liked it better in the other rooms, guys. As you can imagine, it's a very... a bit of a slower feeling. Everyone's sort of cleared out now, but the interesting one for me is how much ice is on some of these players. I just saw Jeremy Cameron walk out with ice on his left ankle Achilles area. Zach Guthrie was going to come and have a chat to us, but his extended family's here, so unfortunately he's spending time with them. I wouldn't have thought it was the best game to be at for his extended family, but the mood here is, as you can imagine, they let one slip, I suppose. They came home really strong in the last quarter and just couldn't get it done. So, as you can imagine, quite sombre, I suppose, without being dramatic.
No, thanks, Lex. No word on Tom Stewart, though?
No word on Tom Stewart at this stage. They did. I just spoke to the media manager and he said that I should have an update after the coach's press conference, which I suppose hopefully the coach will have one in there, so we'll keep an ear out for that. But at this stage, no update on Tom Stewart. All
right, thanks to Alexia Peshier in the Geelong rooms and her work tonight. Adelaide 61-point winners over the Bombers, 25-11, 161 to Essendon, 15-10, 100. The Crows really, all of a sudden, back-to-back 100-point scores and above, and last week it was a good win over the Saints. This week it was over the Bombers. Is it believable, Berkey, in your eyes?
Look, it is. You look across the ground and they're really, really well structured. Before the season, people were saying sides don't play three tall forwards anymore. You got Fogarty, you got Walker down there, Thilthorpe down there. They're going, hey, that doesn't work. Certainly worked today. The way that Tex was up the ground, kicking the ball out of the back line, we know what such a great kick of the footy that he is. Fogarty had space to lead into. Thilthorpe's up when he needed to be. So those three working in tandem, and then you've got Rankin and Rochelle and these guys once the ball hits the ground. Boy, it's a really potent forward line when they're on song. So and Dawson through the middle of the ground was outstanding. So now they've got all the pieces. Boom and I were talking before this game started. Matty Nix, he had pressure on him. I'm thinking, okay, them winning, does that relieve the pressure? I actually think it probably it's made the football world say, gee, they're a good side, Adelaide. They're a good side, Adelaide. So if they don't actually do well, that's more pressure on Matty Nix because now we all think that they're a good side. We don't think they're crap and he's just dealing with a dud side. We think they're good, so he better bring out the best.
You know what they've done? They've become a really good kicking team.
Yeah.
Now, I think the best teams in the competition are kicking teams. I think Hawthorn right now are outstanding and they kick the ball unbelievably well. The Adelaide Crows with Dawson, Rankin and these type of guys, Tex Walker, I think they're an amazing kicking team, hence why I like watching them play so much. 59 marks Essendon had today. The Adelaide Crows, 129, 20 marks inside 50 to 7. That's where the game's won. If they can kick the ball like they have in the first 2 weeks, they're going to be a very, very hard team to beat.
They certainly are, and they've got everyone sitting up and taking notice after Isaac Rankin was subbed out at three-quarter time. So one of those luxuries you can have when you aren't winning. They take on Boomers Kangas next Sunday at the Adelaide Oval. The votes in the ABC Football of the Year. Brent Harvey.
This was a tough one tonight, and there is a few apologies. I won't go through the apologies, but we thought Rowan Marshall 1 vote, 29 disposals as the big ruckman. 7 clearances. I thought he was fantastic, and just his leadership to be out there took some really big clunks when they needed it. Jack McRae ended up with 35 touches, 10 scoring involvements, as Berkey's alluded to, with 9 clearances. And I just thought Mason Wood's all-round game tonight, out in a wing. He had 26 touches, but he kicked 2 really, really important goals and 10 marks. I thought his marking was exceptional tonight. So we gave Mason Wood the 3, Jack McRae the 2, and Rowan Marshall 1. With a few apologies to those guys that probably deserve votes in there.
I have a question for you, Boomer. If Geelong get up and they find a way to come back from 41 points down, would there have been any Geelong players in that 3-2-1?
No, not looking at the stats, and it's not all about stats. But no, I didn't think there was I didn't think there was a clear winner tonight. Jack Higgins is probably one we should have got in Berkey for 1 or 2. I thought 4 goals as a...
Thought the nippy small forward might have been your... on your mind there.
Can I change that and get rid of Rowan Marshall and put Jack... Jack Higgins as 1, please. Don't worry about the ruck. Stuff the ruck. We'll get the little forward in there.
Hey, I'm willing to give you a mulligan. Do you want to scratch him?
I'll have one mulligan. I'll get rid of Rowan Marshall. I'll put Jack Higgins in. Thank you very much.
So generous with us on the ABC, and he's been bumped. Jack Higgins gets the 1. Jack McRae gets the 2. Mason with the 3 votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. I'm assuming everyone thinks Brisbane will defeat the West Coast Eagles tomorrow. So
Correct.
Boomers, Kangas and the Demons here at Docklands tomorrow. What are you expecting, Berkey?
Oh, I'm expecting a good show from the Kangas.
I hope so.
I think Melbourne are in good form. They look like they're confident, playing some good footy. Last week I was impressed with them, so I think the Demons will get up.
Yeah, I did their game last week with you, Clinchy, and they were very, very unlucky to lose that game against a really good opposition. So Melbourne are playing some good football without getting a win on the board, obviously. So I think we're going to have our work cut out, but who knows?
And the Fremantle Dockers get to unfurl Shea Bolton for the first time as they take on the Sydney Swans in Perth. The Swans have lost more players with Milliken, McInerney, Ben Patton out. So a challenge for Dean Cox to try and avoid slipping to 0-3 to start the season.
And going over to Perth too, Fremantle being really disappointing last week. Bolton makes a huge difference. I really rate him as a player. He's a goal-kicking midfielder. Very, very hard to replace those type of players. Hayden Young's not back yet, is he? He'll make a massive difference when he comes back as well. I think Fremantle over there with Bolton back in can win that one.
So that's the schedule for tomorrow. If the game you're looking for is not on your radio, have a look on the ABC Listen app and click on the AFL Extra button because we are calling all matches across the weekend. Thanks so much to our team tonight. There is a bit of cricket news as well. Changes in the England camp. Heather Knight has stepped down as the England captain and John Lewis has been sacked or stepped aside as England coach, depending on who you want to chat to. And Oscar Piastri has claimed his first ever pole position for the Chinese Grand Prix. So certainly something to smile about after, unfortunately, the disastrous end to the Melbourne GP. The Saints fans, they're smiling tonight. 7-point winners over the Cats. 15-8-98 to Geelong, 13-13-91. Might have been the golden boot of Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller, who denied the Cats a come-from-behind victory. The Saints winners by 7 points. Good night from Docklands.
The World Test Championship is coming.
He gets connection here, lifts it over the keeper, 1 bounce for 4.
Australia versus South Africa.
And he lifts it, he's got him again.
Catch every ball on the ABC Listen app.
ABC Sport. ABC Sport. ABC Sport for coverage like no other. You're with Chris Rowbottom on ABC Radio Hobart and ABC Northern Tasmania.